and came back to the future so I could meet with you. We met right here, we had a rendezvous. You would listen to my tape so you know what to do. And all I know is you gon' nod your head to this and get some bread to this. From Chicago to Los Angeles, dangerous. I am dangerous. You can't hang with us till you aim at us. All that gang shit is strange to us. Watch me go ape shit. Your bitch is basic. Trying to change the ties on this spaceship. Trying to press rewind on my tape shit. I was trying to find some seven signs on some same shit. Got back on my rape shit. Shorty say a man, he a sucker. He don't fuck her right. Goofy motherfucker, stupid. You know, just a sucker type. But you know how we do it, baby. You ain't gotta sacrifice. Cause me and you, we make the type of music bring you back to life. Analyze, digitize, multiply, multiply, multiply. Look in the eyes, touch your thighs, multiply, multiply, multiply. Analyze, digitize, multiply, multiply, multiply. Look in the eyes, touch your thighs, multiply, multiply, multiply. This is Dr. Spock with rock sound. This is Tupac mixed with Doc Brown. That means it's back to the future. Plus I get around, y'all stay jealous. I made weather in the 7th round. Kanye text me, he said, "Blau, don't let us down." He trying to do Chicago like New Orleans, they gon' let us drown. My side chick say she want a real relationship, but I can see straight through the bitch like an ultrasound. Somebody found my artist, either lost and found, right next to the fucks that I couldn't give. I don't give a fuck, nigga, not at all. And I blame it all on my fucking kids. I survived the Bush era, I deserve a award. 100 rifles on the table with 100 swords. Fuck you mean? I came to blow steam and I came to get green. If that means I'll take yours. No rival, no YouTube and no SoundCloud and no title. Lexus in the blood going viral. I can't do no handcuffs, I can't do no blindfolds, but I can do this shit with my eyes closed. I'm multiplying. Analyze, digitize, multiply, multiply, multiply. Look in the eyes, touch your thighs, multiply, multiply, multiply. 5 in the 10, turn 10 in the 20, turn water in the wine, turn wine in the Henny, turn Henny in the Douce in the Ace of Spades. The concert looking like the Macy's Day Parade. We throwing gang signs like we about to play charades. The loud pack looking like we about to throw grenades. Patrols feeling why a nigga flipping off the stage. Then pop up out the ether like I'm Dr. Strange. The whole mission wasn't ever written on the page. She bit the bullet, but I had to stick her with the blade. I'm method man, I only came to bring the pain. You niggas got the strap, but you never got the game. Stop complaining, Jack and Biggie, you can't stop the rain. Y'all niggas give top and brain just for pocket change. This is divine division like the rock campaign. We used to hug the block for days, now we pop champagne.
Back at you live. Today we're going to talk about shadow clearing, emotional wound clearing, how to fight a shadow walker, and the art of fighting shadow walkers or spiritual possessions. You know what I'm talking about? I'm going hard in this season because the planets are lined up and it's time to get it in. I don't know if niggas pay attention or not, but if you feel like you got an imagination, and you feel like you got a special power, or you want to know if you got a special power, try doing some shit to see what happens, you know. Try to manifest something and see what happens now. So what they'll do is put you to sleep. And when the time do come to make it happen, you won't even know the time. You know what I'm saying? That's just a side note. But like I said, how to fight a shadow walker. At the most basic level, we each have a collective shadow body that we have inherited as a collective, connected to humanity, as well as an individual shadow body that has formed from accumulative trauma experiences and emotional conflicts. The negative emotions generate shadow element substances and dead energy that build up and becoming meshed with our physical layers, forming into energy blockages. Now that's like the chakras and shit, you know what I'm saying? They say unblock your chakra. Roots of the disease, problem, physical problems, mental problems, like they just said, energy blockages. So that's like when they fuck with your chakras, you know. To release these energy blockages, we are required to address the shadow body. So clearing the shadow means to first be able to face our emotional wounds. To achieve spiritual inauguration, we must become conscious of our past emotional traumas, then allow a safe place in which to heal these dark places. In order to transmute shadow body, live in a much more conscious, authentic, and loving lifestyle. So basically what it's saying is supreme love, you know what I'm saying? But first you gotta address this shit, you know what I'm saying? You gotta what I'm saying, you gotta like figure out if this trauma, like address it with yourself, find a safe place, meaning where nobody's messing with you or you're not having a problem, less distraction. So yeah, address it is actually tell yourself, no, I gotta move past this. A lot of people just write it off in their mind and keep moving, but don't know that it still affects your forward movement and your theoretical decisions you make in life. You know what I'm saying? And when we have suffered a trauma, and trauma is real, people need to address that shit. That results in significantly painful emotions. Part of our psyche and conscience shut down as a way to protect ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So that you be all fucked up. You don't know that in order, as time went past, in order to protect yourself, you have blocked out these memories out your mind instead of face to face, sat in a dark corner, quiet room, and address them. And it's not addressing these trauma experiences in one day or hour. It's a process over a couple of days and hours. So if you got 4 or 5 days and hours where you've been addressing this trauma, which is to try to relax sometimes, to try to be peaceful, to try to meditate, address it, it's gonna leave. And a lot of times we just keep it moving. We not address our traumas and we go into a relationship bringing in our trauma, thinking it's nothing. And especially in Chicago, a lot of these niggas got PTSD and trauma, which leads to bipolar. Be bipolar. Sometimes if the trauma is painful enough to generate disassociation, the mind will fracture into subpersonalities that hide behind amnesiac barriers. That means just like like I said once again, that movie, Incarnate, that you start going into a dreamlike state. You start becoming sleep. You start not really thinking clearly. It's like being up for 4 or 5 days and still functioning. You don't know you're making the wrong turn. That's why they say you need some sleep. It's like that. And that's how the entity enters you. The body will react by constricting and contracting itself, shutting down the heart so the residue of the unprocessed pains get recorded in the shadow body, in the physical body, or get recorded in the shadow body is what I'm saying, and in the physical body. In order to heal from this emotional trauma, the body has to let go, unwind the physical emotional construction patterns that consolidate into energy blockages that were formed from the negative emotional pain experiences. So basically, like it blocks your chakras, you know what I'm saying, once these stuff start happening. Core emotional wounds that form in our shadow and pain bodies sabotage our divine purpose and prevent us from finding deeper meaning in life. It dampens our joy and interferes with our service in this world. Meaning you can't, you just think you work, you know what I'm saying? You work. You work, you don't even know, just get money and just be able to eat crab legs and die. No, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? The shadow shows up as our unconscious fears, uncontrolled impulses, knee-jerk reactions, chronic forms of anger, depression, loneliness, and addictions. These accumulated emotional wounds form a dark shadow interior that will resonate with our outer dark forces and match resonance. And then the body can be used to transmit range of negative forces in the environment. So if you come out west, or if you see women from out west and versus a woman from Georgia, she got the woman from Georgia got the luscious, like she drink water look. The one from out west got the dark look like she smokes too much weed and needs some water, dehydrated look. And due to the environment of a concrete city, it's performing looch and looch. Negativity begets negativity, which perform looch. And looch is an emission of energy that cannot be seen to the naked eye, but felt by etherical negative energy beings. That it evaporates into the air, and it hovers over that area or siphons that looch from that area. So imagine steam. And, steam come in the air, and if I want to catch the steam, I'm gonna put something over to catch it. But first, I gotta create the steam. So how do you catch the steam? You need fire and water. So what do? You get a water sign and a fire sign, opposites attract, and then they, what I'm saying, they might get into it. They the chemical, alchemical, they this that. You create a situation. So now you got water sign, fire sign, create a steam, which is the situation. Now you got a negative energy vortex solution emanating from this bullshit that be happening in their brothers and sisters' house. Everybody time niggas getting into it. That's energy shit. That's motherfuckers be feeding off that shit. You know what I'm saying? And Zazo get it cracking off that. This phenomenon manifests a psychic vampire profile as unconscious person with unhealed shadow that has become a repository of outer negative forces, which they unconsciously transmit to others in exchange for siphoning higher energies from their target, from a lack of self-awareness. So this is how sometimes, motherfuckers be fucking with you, you don't know it. Or people be coming to your crib, you know what I'm saying? You be feeling like, man, like road rage. It don't be the fact that the nigga got out and shot the motherfucker right there. It's the fact that he been going through this shit all day. So that shit built up into one moment where he got tired of it and shot a motherfucker. So that's, it's similar to that, you know what I'm saying? And over time, you become unaware that you are a sacred agent. You are a negative motherfucker. You are the, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't think like that. They like to believe, oh, well, I go to church, I believe in Jesus. But nah, nigga, you know you're negative. The shadow paralysis freezes emotional pain inside the body until we recognize it is happening and develop self-awareness, along with the willingness to see deeper inside our hearts and review the past trauma experiences that we interpreted as a deeply painful emotions in the body. The trauma experiences that form the shadow body generate stagnation that eventually degenerates the light body layers, erodes our personal integrity, which is sovereignty, and blocks our ability to access our inner resources, meaning in the matrix, everything coming from men, the power of from men, not from without, external. Both energetic and spiritual, you know what I'm saying? At a certain level of advanced progression of unhealed shadow, the negative ego mind would tend to create forms of pleasure from out of the unhealed pain of the shadow, crackhead, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You smoke too much weed and you alcoholic. This generally takes form in addiction coping mechanisms that are conditioning harmful and destructive levels of behavior in the central nervous system. The mind, and think about the central nervous system as your wiring in your car. If that shit starts, you know how it go. The mind is tricked into believing the harmful activities and negative belief systems are beneficial and pleasurable. You know, NBA Youngboy talk shit, Jay Prince talk shit, FBD Duck Dead, King, all that shit, in order to find ways for the mind and the body to escape the inner tension and stagnation and negative and pain. So, nigga, money can't really get rid of this shit. You got to really deal with yourself, or you're turning to some shit like Shaw Copy Poems. Shadow clearing works mean we will enter the dark night of the soul as it opens the spiritual progress, to remove which caused disconnection within ourselves, so that we can be reborn into spiritual foundation of our true core self. The process of shadow work is transforming the dark interior and shadow aspect of applying self-compassion, the light of conscious awareness upon which had hurt us, and intentionally choosing self-love and forgiveness towards the content which we need to be healed. To do the shadow clearing means that we transform the emotional pain that form into the darkness and inner darkness and transform the emotional content into light, thereby increasing light of consciousness increasing light of consciousness inside of ourselves. As we develop the higher ways to love ourselves and others, the shadow produces a very low quality image and consciousness perception, along with poor discernment, and that's a good thing. Discernment, you know what I'm saying? If you got to have discernment, you know what I'm saying, and a lack of clarity. Now, if you confused and they got no discernment, Joe, like I say, perception. They play with your perception. Shadow work is sacred body work, which is intrinsically connected to the spiritual ascension progress, which is the planet's lining up like now. To this end, if every individual would take responsibility for clearing their inner shadow, this alone would greatly improve the world as we know it. You know what I'm saying? Corona go away. So we got to get this shit right. Virtues are qualities of goodness, which inhabit the world of forces as a spiritual force to protect our aura and body, in which the presence of the Antichrist and the universal shadow, them dark motherfucking forces, you know what I'm saying? Like Biden say, fight for the soul of America. Nigga, come on. You already on that shadow walker shit. Fight for the soul. Now we fight for our soul. Okay, you want our soul now. Okay, when one builds strength in the virtue, one builds strength in the power of our goodness, which translates into power of God for us upon the material plane. Now you can make shit happen. You could. That's why I say test your powers. We reap the quality of our cultivated virtue, in which brings incredible gifts directly from the God Spirit. The Spirit of Christ, is what they call it, or the God body, are which attracted to the Spirit are that which attract virtues and goodness and things that come to you instead of fucked up Smith situations and terrible packages or bullshit coming at you one time to distract you, and you know how that go. I need a drink type moments. You know what I'm saying? So like I say, this is problematic. Dark art trains refer to the period in your life when you're being pushed really hard, usually through some sort of unsolved problem or personal suffering, to go beyond your current frame of reference in order to fully comprehend what is happening to you spiritually. This profound moments also mean pulling back the veil, the matrix, seeing behind the matrix, seeing the unseen scene that has hidden and the alien interference, planetary and human evolution. Like, the white man is smart to be aliens on this shit rather than feel victimized by these events. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's problematic, and I'm out.
Well, 9 times out of 10, one with the ancestors, you will get an answer. And tonight is the start of a new series called How to Think in Hieroglyphs, where I will show you to think in wholes. I will show you to think in hieroglyphs. I will show you or attempt to bring back the ancient mind frame that we all once had, that we have got away from due to reincarnations on this earth, birth, death, and just a simple act of forgetting over eons and eons of time. Any of y'all familiar with reincarnation? And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up the book. Right now, I'm not gonna have any. I don't have any particular topic in plan, but we're just gonna crack the book. And I'm gonna start reading, and we're gonna give you a briefing about what that's saying. Okay. So now that I cracked the book, this is what it's telling me. The stage of spiritual mastery, 7th level of initiation. Through the performance of rituals with the divine intelligence governing death, which is Seker, S-E-K-E-R, the initiate dies to the things of the world, that he may be born to the powers of heaven. Life on earth is no more than a preparation for the living as a spiritual being. At some point, we must reorientate our perspective in life. The initiate here trades mortal life for immortality, human talents for spiritual power. In other words, there can be no mastery of spiritual power for those who are still in any way controlled by earthly existence. At this point, the initiate becomes a vessel through which the Supreme Being can bring about change in mankind. Basically, what this is saying is that the 7th sphere, the control is governed over imagination. And if you see spheres are level or etheric energy dynamics that we like chakras, that we go from 1 to 9 or from 9 to 1. 1 to 9 is to be from heaven, incarnated on earth. 9 to 1 is to be up earth, trying to find heaven. So, as I always say for myself, I'm from heaven trying to figure this earthly stuff out. And the 7th level of initiation is that you got to die to the things of the world to gain spiritual power. And what they're saying is, like they say in the Bible, be in this world, but not of this world. And here, the die of the things of the world is to lose external, how could I put it, external connections, as I would say, or external pulls, which is that if anything on earth have a grasp on you, and you're trying to maneuver your way through the land, trying to figure things out, trust me, life is always going to present this thing that has this tie to you to really get you to come to grips with actually losing it. And then seeing how you would deal with losing the object or the thing of love or the thing of your attention. And then once life sees that you're able to deal with it in the correct manner, it will stop presenting that loss to you. But as long as you are attached to something, life is always going to present a situation where you're going to lose something. And when they say to die of the things of the world in order that you will gain spiritual power, meaning there's nothing can penetrate, like we say at Godspeed.com science, the bulletproof vest, meaning nothing gets in. So there's no entry wounds, there's no exit wounds. Meaning if nothing, if I have on a bulletproof vest and someone shoots at me, which is in each turn a negative energy, it's not penetrating my essence. It's not penetrating my soul. So therefore, it doesn't shake my body. It doesn't go in and predetermine, like give me cancer or give me stress or make me sick. It just stays on the outside. I'm still able to proceed it and deal with it, but it's not soaking into my ether or my mind or my body to where their problem become my problem. You know, I can always deal with it with a proper frame of mind as long as it stays outside of me. Therefore, I'm not drained of my energy. And the way you do that is to actually let go. You have to let go. And to let go, you have to realize you have to let go fear. And then once you let go fear, the power is willed unto you by means of the fact that once you let go, the spirits are able to work with you. spirits are able to lead you in different directions, or the ancestors are able to work with. And in my example of me letting go, we had there was an issue where back in the day I used to buy cars, and this is the time when I was like hustling, doing my little thing on the street, and I used to buy a lot of cars and stuff. But there's one particular car I had was a Chevy, Impala, and it was fixed up and everything. And not normally 2 days out, 3 days after I have it, the police came and took it. It was an incident where a fellow of mine was in a car riding dirty, and they came and he threw it under the seat. They found they took the whole car, and I was very upset. But this is the time when I was in my lowest form, when I was birthed into my lower nature, when I quite knew that something was wrong with the world, but I didn't have the information to really figure it out. I just knew that I was a little different. But I was upset. And one thing I told myself is, well, this happens over and over and over. So what I'm going to have to do is actually time heals all. So a year from now, I'm going to laugh. So what I told myself is, I'm going to bring that time towards me right now. Instead of going through the process of being sad and miserable about the object that I lost, I'm going to get over it right now. As soon as I lost it, I got over it. So what I did was blank it out of my mind. It never really existed in my soul. It never really existed to me. So I blanked it out of my mind, and I kept moving like a robot, meaning there was no down period. I just got right back up like it was a year later, and just kept going and kept going. And therefore, I got a couple of more cars after that. But the thing is, that was taught me is singular in my sleep. It taught me to prepare to start letting go, die to the things of the world. Meaning that can't nothing twinkle your eye, can't nothing pull your attention, can't nothing pull you to a trap, then it's much harder for Set, which is the ancient word for Satan, S-E-T, Set. It's more harder for him to perform illusions, and then them illusions grasp your attention and bring you to the trap that he has laid out for you, and that's not easy. That's not really that easy to live in this world, to be in this world, but not of this world. I mean, that's not as easy as it said. It takes a lot of practice. But once you see that and actually experience it and do it, you'll see the power in that. And the power in it is like the Akashic records, which is you will be directly in tune with the source, along with the other aspects of the ancient Metu Neter knowledge that you'll grasp along the way. But with this one is the most important. This frees up the doors. This open up the doors. This frees up the BS and open up the doors, and frees up a way for the ancestors to talk to you more freely, and for you to actually witness the power of the etheric energies working in your favor. If you can just die to the things of the world, that way you become the observer instead of the one that's being observed. You can perceive through a lot of people BS and lies. You can actually become an alien to human, meaning that you have stepped out of the human realm and became into the alien, not a monster or green monster, but alienated towards these emotions of this matrix that they gave us to deal with. Meaning you are a master, you're a master over that. That's when they say self-mastery. Self-mastery is I am my Lord and Savior. That means I'm master over myself. I think before I respond. I calculate before I move. Nothing can have me dipped into the moment where I'm not thinking about my actions. And that's what we're witnessing a lot of times today, is that people are trapped in the moment, trapped in the situation, trapped in what's going on in the now. Therefore, they automatically respond. They can't really sit back and think. So when they do certain things by being trapped in the moment, later on, they always say, man, what was I thinking? And that's a very problem, because when you're in a situation and you always come up with what are you thinking, that's telling you that something else took control of your mind at that time, did what it had to do, then gave it back to you. But you should always know what you're thinking. Okay, as we move forward. It says at this point, the initiate become a vessel through which the Supreme Being can bring about changes in mankind. Certainly that you don't have to have an army to get your point across. You don't have to have a big nation of people to actually get your point across. The Father set up a way where as long as you master self, that your energy dynamic radiates out towards to 1,000 people, it's becomes easier for them. It's almost like if you can visualize the 100 monkey effect. That's why they say, well, don't work on everybody else. Try working on yourself first, and then everything else that's been worked on will gravitate towards you. So before you go out trying to preach, march, and everything else, work on self, master self, and then you will see within that mastery of self how the right people, the right things, the things you need, the people that you need to talk to will gravitate towards you. And a lot of times it'll be some people that you never thought was already searching for answers, but just scared to ask. Before I proceed, anybody got anything they want to add on or ask before I go to the next chamber out of the Metu Neter? Okay, and like I was explaining earlier, that to think in hieroglyphs. To think in hieroglyphs meaning is that you don't see things separate, like this, that, this, that. That's the Caucasian more so version of reality. Our reality is to think as a whole, is to think as unity, and then separate the differences in ideology between people, not separate them, and then possibly think about the unity down the road. We think in wholes as a unit, as a people. And in that thinking, you don't really need stoplights. You don't really need stop signs, turn light signals, insurance, because you move in the synchronicity that everyone is one with each other. So I know to stop, you know to go, I know to stop. But in the world that's opposite of that, you need rules and regulations, because everybody is brought into an animalistic nature, which is the lower nature. And in the lower nature, the reptilian brain rules. When the reptilian brain rules, it's almost like you're looking at an animal, but it's able to speak. You're looking at animals, but it's able to think. But it's still in the animal nature, because it's stuck off survival, greed, and I got to get mine, you better get yours type mentality. It's never set to where I'm my brother's keeper. You know what I'm saying? Like just simple stuff like if somebody lets you go in the line or lets you pass in traffic, wait. Most people don't wait. They just keep moving. You know what I'm saying? That's not hieroglyphic thinking, because that way just to encourage the other person to do it again to the next person, and it just makes things go so much smoother. And in Godspeed science is based off hieroglyphic thinking. I got this thing called Sahu, and we all know who Sahu is. If you read the Metu Neter, it's the guy that's it's an energy dynamic or a being. So we got the AB man and we got the Sahu man. The AB man is the person that went to college, maybe Mason, the brother that's got a little money, like to go to the strip club. He got a little discipline over himself where he can at least think before he moves. But he still don't have spiritual reign. He still don't really search for the spirituality of himself. So he's like the college guy, like you're almost there, but you're so far away. And Sahu is like, these names are in the Metu Neter. Sahu, Sahu. He is the one who just like barbaric. He's the one who doesn't think before he moves. He's more thrust into the animalistic nature. His key thing is his imagination, which gets him by his imagination, what he imagined himself to be. And that's the only really one of the basic drives of him is the imagination. And if I can find it, I can explain to you a little bit more. And so who was that little bad nigga that like keep cheap, or the niggas you see in the streets in Chicago, or the brothers out here gang banging, shooting, and killing without no thought? That's Sahu. And in his imagination, while he's being ruled by that, they give him images to emulate, which is you see the rap videos, actual rap, the things. And what he's thinking all day is he's going to be the tough guy. He's going to be the chief. He's going to be the big man. He's going to be the big dope dealer. He's going to be this and that. Even though this reality shows him that perception, the real perception of what he's seeing, that there's no end, no happy ending in these stories, his imagination still rules. He still perceives himself that some type of way he's going to be the only one that make it back, or he's going to be the only one that make it through. And this is the Sahu man. And the Sahu man is like, what we would call 15, 14, 16 years old. But a lot of people don't grow up out of that. Brothers don't grow up out of that Sahu state of mind. They become 34-year-old, 64-year-old Sahus. And that can become a great problem. Matter of fact, I have found Sahu represents the animal spirit. The animal spirit is programmed through 7, which is imagination, 8, separation on concrete things, which is separation, looking at things that's not a whole but separate, and 9 is imitation. The ninth spirit is imitation, meaning that he's imitating what he sees. He's very indiscriminate towards his imitation, meaning he doesn't say, I don't want to imitate that, or that's not good for you. Whatever they put out there for him to imitate, and it equates with his blood type, his environment, his area, he's going to gravitate towards that without a thought. And the AB man, which is I call Mason, and he's basically ruled off of his really his discipline. The fact that he has enough discipline to go to church, or he has enough discipline to go to school, or he has enough discipline to lift weights, or he has enough discipline to get at least money to be able to feed his lower gratifications. And Sahu lacks a lot of that discipline. He just go, go, go. And the Asa man, which is above all of those two aspects, is the God body, which would you call 5% of the seekers of knowledge of the conscious community. And I'm starting to realize even in the conscious community, we're not all the way that conscious. But like I was saying, this broadcast is to teach you to think in hieroglyphs. And what I'm saying is, when I say to think in hieroglyphs and put you back in the ancient mind frame, is to let go of everything you was taught. Let go of everything basically that you was learned, that people told you, and pretty much keep what's necessary to you. You know, like certain things that might be true to you. You don't have to take in everything everybody say. Just keep what's necessary to you, discard what's not. And to think with an ancient mind frame is you basically got to take it back to the Metu Neter and hieroglyphic thinking. Like I can say, have a conversation with a brother, and he can go like, yeah, Joe, I was out and about, and I seen Sahu. And, you know, all of a sudden he was helping an old lady across the street. Now, that brother that I'm talking to, he know when I say Sahu, he know it's a whole history about this type of guy, this drug dealer, crazy little nigga, young brother that's lost, think with his imagination. And I don't have to explain all that. All I had to do is say Sahu. And this is called hieroglyphic speaking. All I had to do is say, yeah, I seen Sahu. There's a lot of them out there. And the brother who I'm talking to know, okay, you got them little wild ass niggas running around. Let me chill. Let me sit back. Let me go the opposite direction. You know what I'm saying? So it saves a lot of that sentences and paragraphs of trying to explain a certain thing. And it's hard to explain without an ancient mind frame. How do you explain a certain type of people that's outside? I know they all black, but how do you explain this a certain type of group that's at this park and you might not want to go there? You know what I'm saying? What you going to say? Oh, it's a whole bunch of thugs up there, and you know, we might not want to go there. You know what I'm saying? No, you can say that, but it's a better way to say, you know, so who at the park, they deep. You know what I'm saying? Basically, what you're saying is there's a bunch of lost brothers up there that's deep, and in that is drugs, pistols, weed, all type of stuff that comes along with the word Sahu. You know what I'm saying? And to stay away from that area. Or I may say, yo, you know, the Asa fam, you know what I'm saying, down the street, you know, and I already know, okay, that's God body. That's where I can go. I can chill. I can relax, especially for the God body that I can get my pop lock on or actually build or go into a 360-degree cipher. So by thinking in hieroglyphs, we're cutting down a lot of words. And plus the English language is a business language and it's not giving us enough expressions to express a hieroglyphic ancient mind frame. Think about that. So they say the kid got ADD. They say the kid don't pay attention because his brain is clicking at a fast rate. He's already born thinking in hieroglyphs and they teaching him how to think A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. That's like taking a Ferrari at going 100 miles an hour and just coming to a complete halt. By actually driving a Lamborghini down a side street 20 miles an hour, the car gonna be fucked up because it's not designed to go that slow. So what they do, the doctor say, oh, the car has ADD. You're like, what the fuck is that? Well, attention deficit disorder, meaning he can't pay attention. Well, if you start teaching fast enough or teaching right, then he will pay attention. But if I'm not learning, why should I pay attention? But we don't know this, so what we do, give him medicine. And what that do, it slows his brain down to the capacity of where they want him to be. Meaning the average child, see, you see what I'm saying? He coming out thinking 100 miles an hour. He just don't have the right information to fill in the voice in his mind. And they give him medicine to bring him down to the level to where now he can think a little bit slower. And now he can go A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. You are following? Anybody got anything they want to add on before I keep going? Or once, going twice? Okay. Another thing I want to add on is that the bastard language science is something out of Godspeed science. And like I was saying, is explaining how the numbers we use, the words we got doesn't hold enough expression. So what we have to do as black people is to go back to our ancient mind frame. Sometimes make up words and give them a definition, make up a group of words and give them an ideology, because we'll never become who we are in this state of mind that we're in, you know. And as time go by and evolution raises or go on into the future, and we're still thinking at this level of thinking, which is what I call a business language thinking. How can you explain anything spiritual or at least ancestors, or at least the Metu Neter, very ancient. How can you explain anything like that? Because there's things in reality is happening that we can't see due to the fact that we don't have no words to express. Is anybody following what I'm saying? How can you fight an enemy you can't even say his name? How can you fight an energy dynamic you can't even say his name? It's always, it seemed like, but if you give it a name, like I call Smith, Agent Smith is the lower energy dynamic that's really built off. If you ever seen the Matrix, it's the same shit, the way it can jump in and out of different people at any given time. And I call that, they call that Satan. I call it Smith, Agent Smith. But it's not like a green man walking around with horns. It's not that type of Satan. It's a lower energy dynamic that's birthed out of chaos. And what Smith do is like on Fridays. You know, if you ever ride in the car, you see accidents, you see sirens. The doctor says multiple killings on Fridays. You see all type of chaos, people fighting. That's the Smith energy that's out there due to the fact that with a hieroglyphic mind frame, you know there's people trying to feed the Lord gratifications on this day. That's why Smith power is very powerful. Friday, you're trying to go to the club, you're trying to drink, you're trying to eat, you're trying to get your hair done, you're trying to have sex, you're trying to, all lower self shit. Nothing wrong with that, but if it's all hunched up in a certain area or grid or neighborhood, then it becomes like energy. And when that energy is harnessed like that, it's Smith, you can damn near see his face. And this is a word I made up. Like a lot of brothers go through, and I went to get the job, man, and just so happened a bag of weed fell out my pocket. But I don't know where the fucking weed came from. Oh, I let my little brother, he done put on my pants and when he got him some green, left the shit in my pocket. I didn't even know he had my pants on. I put the pants on, go to the interview, the shit fall out my pocket. What the fuck? And they look at me like I'm crazy. Now I needed this job because this is the last day I had to do to pay my car note. If I would have got the job, I would have been able to pay my car note, finish paying on my house. I've been decent. That's Smith. Don't you see the synchronicity of bullshit that's going on in that man's life? And this shit happens to him daily in, day out. But he can't say, what the fuck is this? So he go to church. He's in church and they say, oh, yeah, the devil. But he keep thinking red man with horns. He can't really, he's like, well, I don't really see him. So, but I got a lot of shit going on in my life. But what he can't say is, that's Agent Smith. And I know already what he's talking about. Oh, there's some shit happening beyond your control. There's some shit happening that you see synchronized just for you. And then you can't even really, you wondering who it is because, let me give you an example. You get up, this person piss you off. You go hear this person snap. You go hear this person do something stupid. And you picking and shooting. On every time someone piss you off, you're snapping. So that means you just went off 7, 8 times a day. When if you was thinking in an ancient mind frame or thinking in hieroglyphs, you'll know all these motherfuckers is really one person. So why respond to any of them? Because there's one energy dynamic jumping in and out of each one of these person's body. And if you ever want to get to see that in your mind, or idea of what I'm talking about, I know some of y'all seen the movie Fallen with Denzel and the demon Azazel. That's real. That's how Smith works. Jump in and out of different people's body. And the reason it can do that because those who are thrust into their lower self so deep that all they have to do is whisper. It's easy to jump in and out. And it's really an energy dynamic, and it deals mostly through electronics, slightly through the mind, but electronics, cell phones, anything, computer, anything, car, shit like that is strong in that force. It's an energy dynamic, but it's more sort of a electrical energy dynamic. Now you got the shadow walkers. Now this is a more of an entity instead of an energy dynamic. This is an entity, an unseen entity or unseen force. And it moves more so like a Azazel. It can jump in and out of people's bodies. What it do is it wants your soul. It wants your mind, your whole mind, body, and soul. Smith, he just want to fuck your day up and laugh and keep it moving. He want to make sure you stay off balance all day. But the shadow walkers, they want your soul. They want your body. And these are children of Set. These are entities of Set. Meaning is they don't turn back. Ain't no raising them. Ain't no bringing them to life. This is what they is. They just pure fucked up, evil motherfuckers. And through this ancient mind frame, shadow walkers, the way they work, the why I got this idea is because of I thought in hieroglyphs. And the way the shadow walkers work is, like I said, those that are in trapped or stuck in their lower self, meaning is a lot of people go through life and don't know why this happened, why that happened, and just keep moving and keep going. But they study, ain't got the bulletproof vest on, and them situations have become bullets. So where they just get shot up every day, hot situation become bullets. And after 30 or 40 bullets in your body, you're going to start leaking. Meaning you're going to lose blood, you're going to become tired, and you're going to become weak, and you're going to start dying. That's when the shadow walkers come in. And with these bullets called situations in your life, over time, you got so much shit can happen to you that you become weak. You lose blood, you lose power. And the shadow walkers know that. So what they do is they know that you're low, you're kind of off balance, kind of leaning, and you're really in your lower self because you can't get out of this swamp. And what they do is they blow whispers, suggestions, which is the H spirit in the Metu Neter, the power of suggestion. What they use is the H spirit. And if you're not woke, they blow suggestions. Meaning is they suggest you, they see you as just imagine an unseen force blowing in your ear, Joe, do that. Now when they come to God bodies, it take a lot of energy, and they don't like to use a lot of energy to even make him even walk forward or do anything. So they don't do that. They use other people to get to the God bodies. So they take the brother that's lost into his lower self, which is meaning is all they have to do is blow and he gonna move. All they have to do is suggest something. It's easy to work with them. To some of them can fully take over these niggas' bodies. And I know you've seen a couple of niggas out here where they just gone. They just straight gone, lost, just crazy. Half the stuff they do is crazy. And you always scratching your head asking why. Them the brothers their souls been fully taken over by the shadow walkers or negative entities. And I get all of these concepts just out of the ideology of the Metu Neter, because it's explaining a lot of our ancient ways and a lot of our ancient mind work, but we can't see it in today's times. So I figured out how to bring forth that knowledge and that information worded in a way we can see it, because when I say Agent Smith, you can easily, you've seen the Matrix and you know how Agent Smith moved. So that takes a lot of that explaining out of it. You already see, just off me saying Agent Smith, you go to the Matrix, you know how he moved, he was chasing Neo, which was Heru, he was chasing Heru, and you can see that's an ancient math. That's thinking in hieroglyphs right there, what I'm saying. That's thinking in hieroglyphs. All I did was say Agent Smith on my back. Now, if you're familiar with the terms, you're already thinking Agent Smith, the movie Matrix, or the dude running around with the sunglasses on that went into the Oracle and killed her. He was trying to get Neo because Neo was asleep and Neo had wake up. So Neo had woke up. So what did Agent Smith do? Try to get him out of the system. You know what I'm saying? He was a virus. He was in the system, which is the Matrix. The Matrix was the system, which is America. America is the Matrix. And the brothers that's waking up, trust me, Agent Smith gonna be up there looking for your ass. But this is all under the unseen scene, because you can see it, you just can't see it. And that's a hieroglyph. So when I say Agent Smith chasing Neo, which is Morpheus, right there, you going back to thinking about what he did in the Matrix and how that went, and who Neo was in the Matrix. You already thought in hieroglyphs. You thought in images. I didn't really have to break it down to you. You thought in images, which is much faster. So I can say Smith, but kicking it with Sahu, and then Sahu ran into Mason. So what I just told you, I said Smith, meaning the lower self energy dynamic, or Satan, was right behind Sahu, chasing Sahu, kicking it with Sahu. Sahu didn't even know it, which is the little badass nigga in our family. And Sahu got out with his bigger brother, which was Mason, which all he wanted to do was just try to kick it. Now, what happened in this is you got these two sleep brothers and Satan on the side. Oh, it's going to be a beautiful day. So I can continue on and say Sahu jumped in the car with Mason, and Smith was riding in the back seat, and the Shadow Walker was next to Smith. So you got four things in the car, and the Shadow Walker blew into Sahu's ear, make a left, because the Shadow Walker seen the person that Mason got into it with was that way. So he blew, make a left. He just make a left for no damn reason and turn. Next thing you know, dude on the corner see him, oh, ain't that Foolie right there, Joe? They hop in, they will get right behind the two, chase him, and then here goes Smith, dude trying to call for the police out there, looking in the rearview mirror, help, and his phone fucking up. So now his phone don't work, for Smith in the back seat, and the Shadow Walker got them sitting back there laughing because he just got Sahu to turn left right into Mason enemy. And you see what I'm saying? Do you understand how I'm thinking right now? This is a hieroglyphic picture. So as soon as I say, yeah, Smith was kicking it with Sahu got it with Mason, and all hell broke loose. You already know in your mind. Damn, okay, Mason was just minding his business. Sahu just hurt a nigga, did some stupid shit, you know what I'm saying? I got his wild karma on him. And the next thing you know, he got, what's his name, Mason killed. It's always going to be the brother who ain't got shit to do with the situation, the one get killed. The other niggas that got the problem, who started it, always get away. You know why? It's because they need it for a new day. But this is, I'm speaking in hieroglyphs. Hieroglyphs is an easy way to break down information. So when J. Edgar Hoover listen, he's like, yeah, I understand what they're saying. I mean, I understand to a degree of how a dog know how to sit when I say sit. It don't know what shit mean, but it know what to do when I say shit. That's how the agents listen to this shit I'm kicking. Because I hear the words, but I don't know what the fuck that mean. So how can they ever plan anything against us? As a matter of fact, half of them, like I always say, start learning. So they got to keep bringing out agents, putting in new agents when they listen to the Godspeed broadcast, because we think in hieroglyphs, and under the thinking in hieroglyphs, the white man was the albino. So he was always a children of the black gods and queens. So what happened is he get reconnected, that melanin start shifting in his body that he lacked, that was only 1%. The sun started beaming on his ass, he started turning black. So now all of a sudden you got Eminem coming around and shit like that. So what happened is they got to keep that type of power away. Because once anything hear truth, it's going to gravitate towards that way. I don't give a fuck if you even Satan bow down, said bow down. And all said become when you in hieroglyphic mind frame, there's the ground you do push-ups on, or what they call the devil. He ain't nothing but resistance to make me stronger, because without no resistance, I can't get strong. Anybody got anything they want to say? Because I need to take a water break real quick, or add on. Anything, any questions, any concerns? Going once, going twice. Or I even got a question. Am I making any sense? Can you hear me? All right, cool. I guess I am. All right, let me finish doing something real quick before I continue on, family. I'm hoping I'm getting it across the best way possible. And trust me, this is the first series of the Thinking Hieroglyphs. So, it might be a little scratchy, but it's going to get better as time go on. But this is the first series, the first show. There's going to be many more, because it's a big book. Matter of fact, it's 11 verses, 11 chambers, 11 ways to do this, and we're going to go through all of them. But I'm just like kicking it lightly right now. There's nothing too serious, nothing, too hard to understand. But I just want to break this just a word to think in hieroglyphs, and I started to go into the book a little bit more, but I'm a freestyle. I'm a freestyle, and we can go into the book as time go on, and we kind of already know or learning these methods and things that's going on. But I'm a freestyle for now, and what I'm saying is, like what I just described to y'all is hieroglyphic thinking and thinking the ancient mind frame. So let me give you an example. You gotta this and pay it kind of, I don't want to say pay attention, but listen carefully. Yeah, listen carefully. That's a better word. Listen carefully to how this works, especially the brothers that's in the hood, and the sisters, because the shadow walkers show their face, and the shadow walkers, like I said, y'all like probably what the fuck is that? We gonna call that like I said, a negative entity, not a negative energy dynamic, a negative entity. And the reasons we talk like this as black people, and the reason we have melanin, part of the reason is the fact that we can see this shit. Other races, mankind cannot see everything we can see. If you just put yourself into another Caucasian or another race body, you probably go crazy, because you wouldn't be used to being that disconnected with yourself. When we bite the apple, we can taste the earth. We can even see the damn tree. If you really that in tune, you can feel the earth. When they bite the apple, they just bite the apple. You see what I'm saying? And we have that gift, and they know it. That's why they keep their foot on our neck, so we won't tap into that gift. And when you fully tap into that gift, you become lined up with the Akashic records. And what that means is, I had to do some studying, is that you're a direct source to the Father. You right there, while outside, you in zero. You the one in the middle of a zero, meaning the one that I am, I'm right here physical, and I'm in the middle of a zero, meaning I'm gone at the same time. Meaning I live in the ether and spit in the physical. And it's possible, because I'm a living example of it. And I didn't know I was prophesied, or I didn't have no idea that a lot of things I was saying coming to revelation as time went on, people started telling me. So I started figuring out what was going on, that I had put down the book and became the book. But the thing of that is, you got to be true of heart. So they got the Maya scale. Divine justice, divine judgment. And your heart got to be light as a feather. Meaning is, you got to be light as a feather in the body, mind, and spirit. You got to let go. You can't be heavy. You can't be gravitated or thirsty or greedy and wanting all these possessions. Just the want is the fucked up part. Not even the actual possessions, but just the want and the things you would do to get them. That's heavy heart. And when you lined up with at the skills and you in initiation and she judging you, and your heart is heavy, but then that fella, then you got a problem. I mean, you got to go back, do it all over again, whatever. You ain't attaining that. You might have the knowledge, you might have the conscious God body information and all that, but if your heart ain't pure, I can't judge you. The next man can't judge you, but the universe knows. That's the one you can't lie to at all. So you can spit the same truths, spit the same thing, say the same thing, but it might not gravitate. It might not gravitate because your heart ain't pure at this particular time. I mean, Matt, M-A-A-T, know if you're lying or not. It knows. You can lie to me, but you can't lie to it. But if your heart is light as a feather, that means you got supreme love. That means you care to help the fellow man. That means you truly care to help your people. That means everybody is your brother. Everybody is your sister in this sort of sense of a manner. And if the family bogus, then they bogus, because on a scale, it ain't no you my blood, so you ain't bogus for you just killing this motherfucker, smacking this nigga for nothing. No, you bogus. Because my heart is as light as a feather, and I stand and perceive all judgment, meaning is I'm not biased. I'm not biased to anything. That way I can stay centered. Because how come if it's my brother killing a motherfucker and your brother killing another person, to each other, it's still the same. You know, that nigga. So it's not cool whether it's your brother or not. It's still not cool. And if your heart is light as a feather, they put the 1,000,000, they put the 5, they put the 6, they drop the 100, and I walk right past it. When I see the old man drop it and lose it, or the little boy lose it, I walk right past it, or I turn around and say, you lost your money. Them little tests. And you thinking, oh, shit, and the dollar land there ain't nobody around, that's different. But if you see somebody, you know what I'm saying, you snatch your woo, put it in your pocket, go spend it, and you still trying to kick that knowledge and information, don't forget that scale. Maya didn't forget that move you just made earlier. You know what I'm saying? So your words ain't hitting like Mike. Because you ain't true of heart. And we'll pause for a second. Because I got to get a little breather in these sessions. I need to drink plenty of water because I'll be taking off like a rocket. But anybody got anything they want to say? Add on before I go? You know, I work better with questions. My mind is infinite, and I need a box to put it in to contain it. Like how you gonna contain the universe and set it down in your backyard? You know, you need a reference point. So when y'all do ask me reference points, so we do, you know, just anything you say, give me a reference point. And this brings me forth to why GodspeedName.com was made, because I have became under the Metu Neter into my infinite mind, and that I go anywhere, any given time. And when I now have a point of reference or a cue to put myself in, to sit it in a particular place, it might sound like I'm all over the place, but y'all got to pardon me. You know what I'm saying? It's pardon that I will be able to create one myself, which it is just a point of self-contained. But the thing why I'm talking like this is because I got the ancestors in line trying to talk through me, and they don't have a lot of vessels any time of day to talk through. So those that are vessels for the ancestors to spit at the people of the earth, they be in line like broke people at the soup line. You know what I'm saying? They trying to get it in. So it's not nervousness when you feel you finna speak in front of a lot of people. That's not really nervous. That's just that if you first of all, you're true of heart, but second of all, you got ancestors trying to talk through you, and you containing, meaning calm down, meaning is to contain that energy. That's all. It's a lot of energy pumping through you. It's a lot of energy starting from your spine on up. Then it goes up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And the faster and faster it goes, your body's still, but your heart beating, you're feeling nervous. And sometimes you don't even be nervous, but that's how you know that's that energy. And it's not nervousness, it's just the energy of the ancestors trying to work through you. And so many of them trying to travel through you that you're trying to contain them, put them in a line, put them in a box, put them in order. You first. So when I say I'm going to pause and take a, water break, I'm trying to put them back in order because they was back there, got into it a little bit about who finna talk next. You know what I'm saying? So pardon me, bear with me. Now the thinking hieroglyphs. I was asked the other day, basically off of thinking hieroglyphs, someone asked me, how do you harness the ability to be in this world and out of this world, and what happens in that, and one way to do that is first tell yourself, I'm going to let go. Okay. But still be able to maintain your responsibility to keep a roof over your head and food in your mouth, but I'm going to let go. So first step to do that, the first step you take is to practice mind over matter. Do the body control of mind or do the mind control of body? Now, all this is going to relate to the Metu Neter because all this is based out of the Metu Neter. But like I said, this is the first show, so we just keeping it real light. And I just, showed y'all, like I said earlier, when you read books, the way I used to get information from bookstores or answers from the ancestors, I always had this little bookstore on the corner I used to go to. It was an African bookstore, and I have a question. And it was really on my mind. I get up at 7:30 in the morning and sit back and meditate on it and think about it until the bookstore opened at 9. And I walk down there and I just grab the first book I see off the shelf and open it up and read it. And then my answer was right there. All the time. And I guarantee you, y'all, if y'all try that, that'll work. If you got any problem, any situation, whatever book you go to, the Bible, Metu Neter, whatever, just open it up and read whatever it shows you that's going to tell you what you need to know. That's the ancestor talking to you. That's a quick and easy way. But I said that to say, first step is do the body control the mind or do the mind control the body. So I tell myself do 100 push-ups. I know that's beneficial for me. I know that's going to make me stronger because I'm fighting resistance. So by me voluntarily fighting resistance, naturally I'm going to get less resistance in the world. I'm going to say that again. Mind over matter. But the mind say do 100 push-ups. The body get down there and do them. It's voluntarily fighting resistance. 100 push-ups, work out, whatever, run, walk, do it. Voluntarily fight resistance. And through voluntarily fighting resistance, you're going to get less resistance in the world. So you got the swole ass nigga that goddamn it, big as hell at a job. And you got the skinny nigga just skinny little motherfucker right there next to him. And they say, okay, I'm going to hire both of you. Okay, you go over there and lift them boxes, and you go over there and do the audit. That nigga with the swole ass muscle got a pen and a notepad writing, and the nigga that's skinny as hell over there lifting them boxes. That you know you've seen it before. Just think back in y'all life that the swole nigga don't fight. You know why? Because he already fought his resistance. That's why he's big as hell, which is a plus. And then when this little nigga look up at him, he ain't trying to fight. So there you go. He gonna fight. Little do you know the nigga skinny as hell always fighting. That's why Tupac said, little skinny nigga boxing in the streets till he figure out. If I voluntarily fight resistance, then resistance gonna cease to exist in my in my realm, and to a certain degree. That's the first step. Voluntary fight resistance. Meaning is do what your mind tell you to do. So the mind says, shit, do I want coffee or water? Lemon water. Coffee be so nice, but lemon water is what I need. I don't even got the thought. I'm drinking lemon water. As I'm doing this, I'm noticing the grip of the matrix is easing off of me. It's easing off of me. Now I'm starting to see that them urges I had weren't even mine. A lot of them thoughts I had weren't even mine. The second step after practicing that, meaning is try to do fight resistance voluntarily. The second step is to do the total opposite, which is lay back. Lay back. I don't care if you get fresh to death, take a shower, take a bath, put your clothes on, your socks and your shoes on, take your shoes back off, lay on the couch and lay back. And just sit there for about an hour or 2 or 3 hours, maybe the whole day, and you will realize how many thoughts that was coming through your mind that wasn't even yours. And due to the fact that you didn't react off none of those thoughts, a whole 24 hours went past, and with your thoughts, you would have spent at least $125. But just laying back and not goddamn it doing none of them thoughts, just meditating goddamn it on just the thought alone that it ain't yours, you save $125. And the only thing will happen was time. Now I can do this tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? So once you're able to do that, that means women should practice that because they think at 1,000 miles an hour, thinking at 1,000 things at a time. So y'all really need to practice that. And when y'all do that, the power you're going to wear going to be the glow in your skin when I see you again. So first practice discipline, self-discipline. Just doing stuff you don't really want to do. Get up extra early. You know what I'm saying? You wake up at 4 o'clock, you ain't got to be up to 9. Stay up. See that once you start doing these things, you're going to realize it's going to be a weight lifted off of you. You're going to feel it. You're going to become light because you're light-minded. Your being going to be lighter. You're not going to be pulled and stressed out like that. You're not going to have anxiety attacks. You're going to actually be light. You're going to feel it. I mean, it's better to do it to experience it and bring it back to me than me tell you my experience, because it just sounds like I'm bragging. But do to practice those. And that's the first 2 steps. It's the first 2 steps you need to take so far. And I can give you a hint. The rest will come to you. But as you build with me on these blog talk radios, you'll start becoming more in tune with the situation live. But first thing is self-discipline. You know, Bruce Lee used to get up, goddamn it, jump in a cold bath. Early in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, he take a cold bath full of ice. He jump right in there. Imagine the feeling. And then imagine the feeling to make yourself do that. You see what I'm saying? And by waking up like that, forcing yourself to get up is another thing. You either the job or whatever outside of you that makes you get up is your intent. And if that's your intent, then your power goes with that. Meaning is, I don't have to be at this place at 9, but I get up at 4:30 in the morning. That means I'm not getting up because of them. I'm getting up on my own intent, which is that power goes back to me. But if I lay there and lay there and lay there to 8, and I don't want to get up, but I'm getting up, I'm forcing myself up. That ain't you. That's the job pulling you. That's the job controlling you. That's the job waking you up. And all your power goes to that, not to you, because that's not your intent. It was intent. Your intent was for the job, not yourself. Myself is to get up 4:30 in the motherfucking morning, feed the damn birds, take a motherfucking walk. Matter of fact, run. I'm running 5 o'clock in the morning. The other brothers sleep like a motherfucker. I'm doing this. And boy, the power you going to wear from that to where I need a ride when I walk outside, they go to the car right there. I mean, this happens. This shit happens. You know, a situation when this is when I was coming out of Sahu stage, the younger brother who was kind of lost, but really wasn't lost, but was just trying to find his way, but had nothing to fill that void. You know what I'm saying? But trying to put myself to sleep, you know. And I was coming out of that, and I had just made Black Jesus mean a rap. You know, I used to rap, so he was rapping. I was like, fuck that. I'm finna start making some God body shit. I'm finna see what they do. And I knew niggas didn't like it, but I still did it anyway, my intent. And I started reading the Bible real hard. You know, at that time I was trying to find, you know, I ain't see a Metu Neter yet because the computer wasn't as popping as it was now. I mean, it was on and popping, but it wasn't like it is now. And I'm reading the Bible, and I'm flipping through the pages to where I was speed reading, meaning is I download. The download is to read right before you go to sleep. Then you wake up, you're going to know everything to the test, everything that you read in the book is going to seep into your soul. That means you're going to know it. It's going to become you. That's if you really want to study under the hieroglyphic thinking. Download, read it before you go to sleep. Study it before you go to sleep. You're going to go to sleep. When you dream about it, it's going to come into your reality. It's going to soak into your DNA. When you wake up, it's going to become you. But I was reading the Bible, I fell asleep, I woke up. And the only thing I got is to be in this world, but I love this world. So what I did was say, okay, I'm going to start expecting the things that I will to me. So I said, okay, this time I had no car. At that time, I didn't have a car. I didn't have a car at that time. So I got up, put my clothes on, and I walked outside, and I acted in emotion as if I had a ride. And as I got down the stairs and going towards the sidewalk, towards the street, my little cousin pulled up on me. And she said, "Oh, where you going?" I said, "Shit, I was going to the store." She's like, I'm going there. You want to ride?" And I hopped in. And shortly after that day, I wasn't the same. Shortly after that day, I wasn't the same. But that was just a glimpse. And what God did was, or the mother did was, she gave me a glimpse of the power. She gave me a glimpse of heaven, meaning it's the instant manifestation of things. As soon as you think about them, she showed me what it looked like, but then she took it away. And I didn't understand that day. I said, why did she take it away? What the hell? You know what I'm saying? Because I was eating 1 time a day. Food was good as hell. You know what I'm saying? I didn't touch nothing to nightfall. So what I started doing was anything, I didn't do anything to nightfall. I just sat there and I fed the birds and I read and I sat there and I read and I drank water and I sat up right up under the sun. Then nightfall, I got it was on and cracking. But then when I learned that, damn, it's one basic rule that I see people cannot get away from, and it's a thin line, which is hunger. Hunger. Who is going to deny themselves to eat when they got the money to do it? That's even more powerful than making yourself do the 100 push-ups. That's even more powerful than this laying there is to actually stop the block the hunger or be able to control the hunger. So yeah, I started looking around at brothers and I saying, I'm hungry. They're eating, and their body spends 75% of the energy digesting the food, and they're eating 3 or 4 times a day. Their brain ain't clicking at all. You know, they spark plugs. You know, if your spark plug's fucked up, your car gonna fall fucked up. You know, if your spark plug's fresh, clicking like that in perfect synchronicity, then your car will go faster. Same thing with the human brain. But if your body spends 75% of its energy, meaning your spark plug power digesting food, you do the math. And the reason it got like that is because once I started joining into a hieroglyphic mind frame, once I started waking up, once the lower self was switching up to the higher self, once my chakras started lining up, food wasn't even a question no more. I wasn't even thinking about food. And I was trying to figure out myself what the fuck was I eating. But a lot of times it was green apples, Granny Smith apples, orange juice, and sunflower seeds. And that's what I was eating. And I was building. And I realized when I was building with my buddy that he was from the crazy, or he was from Madden. And what Madden was the gods that had no light, but they were so in tune that they was under the bastard language. They didn't know the search for knowledge. They didn't understand it. They had the knowledge, meaning they was born king, queen. But they just didn't have no way to express it or no mirror to know that this is who it was. So they started doing crazy shit, which we call crazy. So the man, what he did was, before he did what he did after that, but the first thing he did, he had a brand new car, rims and everything. He just went to the mental institution back and forth. He was young, we was the same. 10 years later, I see him, he was fucked up, but we both got bodies. Now I'm seeing him. And when I see him, he said, oh, it must be the God season. And I kind of knew what he was talking about because his father kicked the root. I didn't have a father. So he was already lined up. He seen what I didn't understand at the time. And I said, how you know that it's God season? You know what I'm saying? How you know what you're talking about? He said, I can tell the way you dress, your clothes is perfectly coordinated. I said, oh, he said, yeah, that's the first thing you see. And he's like, but there's a problem. How the fuck you talking like this? How you know this? Who taught you this? I said, shit, gee, I've been waiting for somebody to talk to like this. He said, yeah, but I got a father, you don't. He's trying to figure it out. But he was already crazy by that time I seen him. And what they said, what he told me is that his mother eyes grew dim. You know, with time, he seen her start getting greedy, and start losing the love for the family and more for herself. And he kept seeing Smith. And this is from, I'm gonna show y'all what it looked like when you don't have Godspeed or the hieroglyphic thinking or the hieroglyphic ancient frame. When you don't think in hieroglyphs, this is how it looked. He kept seeing Smith before I made the word Smith, before the Matrix come out. Smith still existed. So he in the backyard, and his buddy got a fucking half a brick. His buddy done put a half a brick in his backyard in a black garbage bag, hid it under the porch. And he's standing back there with his buddy smoking on a blunt one day, and the police see him. They throw the blunt, they'll come back there, shit. And so, you know, they looking around. He's like, yeah, well, you know, talking shit because he ain't got nothing. They're like, yeah, we smell marijuana. And he's like, yeah, whatever, y'all don't smell nothing. They got rid of it. And you know, the other one come back with the black garbage bag. What's this? Looking at a half a brick. Everybody around him looking like, what is that? Did nobody know who shit that was? There you go. First time, threw his whole life out, got out once again. Same type of situation. Same type of motherfucker shot at somebody. You know what I'm saying? He walking down the street in the same direction that the nigga shooting at. Police pull up, get him. They start looking around for the gun. Dude done dip because he seen the police. They find the gun a little farther down the street, grab him and put it on him. This is Smith. This is Smith and the Shadow Walkers working on this nigga. Smith is the energy dynamic. The synchronicity is a bullshit, and the Shadow Walkers is just sitting back waiting to take his body. And what they're doing is they're waiting. So far, he got 1 foot in, 1 foot out of depression. He walking, he leaning, he walking, he leaning, then he see me. So by the time he get up to me, it was too late, so I'll back it up. He had a car. This was sent him in the water. He had a car, and he walks 8 to 12 miles to the stove. And he had a car, and then he walked with his boxer shorts on and some Timbs and a T-shirt. So his mama thought something was wrong with him at that time. They put him in. So by the time I seen him, you know what I'm saying, he was already fucked up. And it's because he didn't know Smith. You know, he knew the church aspect, but church say devil. Don't nobody really can't see that really, like, you know, in the ancient mind frame, you can see it. We gonna give it a name, and we gonna give it how he works. He ain't no red motherfucker walking around. The devil is the energy dynamic jumping in from person to person to person to person, especially if you're born with the mathematics and the sons and children, the daughters of God. He at your ass. Meaning this, he want to make you stronger, or he gonna break you. There's two things going on. And for me, devil work for me, Smith work for me. All they do is make me strong. They keep me on my feet. They keep me from putting my phone in my lap and getting out the car and breaking. Because I'm always knowing his ass somewhere around. So I'm always on my P's and Q's. So I'll never slip. And when you never slip and it become of you, now you're going back off instinct, hieroglyphic, ancient thinking. Let's take it back to that. Once your instinct was one with you when you was a child, you grew up because the matrix fucked you up. You stopped trusting your instinct because it became wrong, because you was off-centered and unbalanced. Then all of a sudden, when you got the knowledge and information, you still didn't trust your instinct. Don't forget, you can go back and trust it now, because now your mind is 100 because you have a higher vibration. You understand what I'm saying? You can trust your instincts now, especially if you one with the Metu Neter and the God body and the God sciences. You can trust your instinct now. The problem is we forget to go back and trust it. So Monday Moon say, bro, I said, what up? He said, hey, man, you right there with God. And this is how I'm waking up, you know, because I thought I was woke already, but I see this learning is infinite. I was so far, I ain't going to even say sleep, but I was woke then. It's just that I wasn't woke as I was now. I didn't, you know, I thought it was shit. That was the shit. Hell no, this shit go on forever. So he said, can you ask God something for me? And I was like, what up? He ain't say nothing. And I was like, all right, man, you going to say something? He said, yeah, I already said it. I was like, oh, okay, cool, I got you. And he already fucked up. You see what I'm saying? The medicine got him talking like this. If he'd have met me before and we was able to bounce back and forth with each other, he wouldn't need that medicine. But since he met me later, I already knew him as a child. We left, came back 10 years later after a certain point, and he was already under the medication. I was going through my resurrection. See what I'm saying? So he jumped off a bridge. And I asked him why he jumped off a bridge. You know, what the fuck was that about, man? He said, I wanted to see I wanted to see if I can die. I believe I can't die. And, you know, he used to talk to me in codes like this, but I said, oh, so we do live forever. He's like, shit, it ain't your time, because he was still God's body. He just was fucked up. He just didn't know it. And they had already admitted him into the crazy world before he was able to get into these times where he would have realized why he was talking like that. Because everything he was talking about, they laugh now, they laugh then, but it's true now. Trust me. But the reason they put him in the crazy world is for the Matrix Czar, which is the supreme white man, or the, you know, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call it. Czar got an effect, meaning there's the Moses effect. And the Moses effect is, oh yeah, nigga, you can know all this knowledge, but all I need to do is get your ass in the mental institution, and goddamn it, no matter what come out your mouth, after people know you go there, they're gonna just claim you crazy. See, I made it past. And that's what he wants to know. Gee, how you make it past the mental institution? What you mean? You still kicking with the fellas, and you able to understand what I'm saying. See, I was in both worlds. To be able to talk hieroglyphic spiritually, you ain't supposed to kick it with the normal people. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're supposed to be able to. You ain't supposed to be able to talk like that. You're supposed to sound crazy, but I was able to get my point across still in a manner where they can understand. That's the way I write, reason I talk the way I talk. So, saying that this is real, and the reason they pay you to go to the mental institution is to make it look a little appealing to any other God bodies. Meaning is, all I need y'all to do is get here. I put the medicine in you. People know about it. I don't even pay you. I give you $600, $800 a month and back pay, and for the rest of your life, you're thinking this is just some really serious issue. No, the medicine is used to be able to take the God out of the God body. And these are test dummies. And this is what they do. And once they tweak it to a certain level, what they call thorazine and all that shit, but that's really what it is. Once they tweak, because you got to check in and out every so often, they ask some questions. They ask them questions. Who you hanging with? What you doing? And they asking them questions. At first, he's in there talking God body, you know, the spirits, the universe, woo woo. 3-4 years later, they ask him the same question. He ain't saying none of that. He's just like a dumb. He's like, man, you know, McDonald's and maybe a cigarette or something. And then they say, okay, now we're gonna use this and put it in all the black people shit. Just little doses of this shit. So now, for us, what they need is the tetanus shots, the shots that are mandatory you get all of a sudden. Why we need to get these shots? Because the same shit they're putting in the mental institution patients, they're putting in them shots and giving it to the black community. They breeding the fucking God out of man. So now you got Chirac. Man, these niggas killing each other. 55 shootings, 12 murders on a Saturday. Now, do we understand back in the day, just to hold a gun, you thought God was going to get your ass. As I was a child, I'm like, shit. But as I started seeing the way the world was moving, I told myself, even at 17, 16 years old, if we keep going like this, because brothers start just killing niggas. Brothers start just smacking motherfuckers with bats and breaking their jaw and laugh. I said, 5 years ago, we were scared to do this. And not scared of the fact doing it, but scared of God. Now, I'm 17, it ain't nothing. I give it 20 more years, God is going to be gone out of these niggas. And here we is, 2017, with a murder rate. Come on now, we ain't even got to talk about that. Something ain't right. So the pastor say, Joe, you're thinking in hieroglyphs. I'm thinking from the book. He said, okay. I said, well, do church hold the power in the street? He said, yeah, if we as the people, we go to the street, we can make the whole power. Then I said, well, damn, if I'm a child, and I'm learning about the world of Caesar 7 days out the week, and I get 1 day out the God, out the day out the week to learn about God, which is Sunday. Then as I get older, no matter what you talking, what's gonna become more realer to me? These shit in the streets or the God that I learned about on 1 day? Because if God was really supreme, he should get every damn day. Think about it. So he said, get your ass out, Jesus. You come in here starting that stuff. Whose son is this? The son of a bastard. Who is the son of the carpenter? You know, the fuck out. Who is your father? And the reason they asked Jesus who his father was, they was basically saying, who is your mentor? And Jesus was like, I ain't got no mentor. God be my father. They're like, no. And the other one stood behind him like, yeah, he is right, though, because the shit he's saying is ill. But I like to know who really is his father. Ain't it Joseph the carpenter? Ain't this the carpenter's son? But Joseph sleep. Joseph a carpenter. He worked with his hands, not with his mind. But who the hell teaching this man this? Nah, they got to bow down because even Satan worships and honor the supreme being. So they say, why you can't kill folk? Because they can't see folk. They can see folk. The white man love folk. Why white man love folk? Because, folk be kicking that motherfucking truth. Why is it necessary that any race love folk or any other God body? Because that's the method man licks. Or if you goddamn it true heart, they can't do nothing but honor you any motherfucking way. But when they see them incongruencies and ideologies, what they want to do is kill the spirit. Once they kill the spirit, they can kill the body. So they put Tupac with Suge. How we gonna do this? So we can't kill him while he woke, while he making all eyes on me. We can't kill him then when he making Soldier Story. We can't kill him when he making shit like Brenda's Got a Baby. So what we do, put him up with Suge Knight, kill his spirit. California Love. Now he at the Las Vegas stumping on niggas' heads. Next thing you know what happened, brothers, after he stumped on that nigga head. He want pure heart no more. He want pure spirit. It's heavy. His heart was heavy as in a feather. And then right then and there, they got him. And in normal time, if the motherfuckers were trying to assassinate him with him, he came over there. He just prayed to God to help him, and he went back into his God body Wadim, but they was at him. So they got him when he was slipping. That's how I look. Kill a spirit, then we can kill a body. And my spirit ain't going nowhere. That's why every nigga that around me turned on me. They try to kill a spirit, but they gotta remember I came in this motherfucker alone. And they ain't talking about born like a baby. I'm talking about born into this light alone. So can't nobody take me off my throne. I ain't had no father. I ain't had no teacher. I ain't had nobody to teach me any motherfucking thing. I had to learn this shit by my damn self. So now they gonna do hieroglyphic thinking. Hieroglyphic thinking. So they doubt you when you hieroglyphic thinking. But when you're in the proper mind frame, your words encompass all. Anything you say encompass all. So no matter what, they can't get away from it. So then they come back to you because they never seen the death and the resurrection. They're gonna look at you. They say, nigga, I ain't never known you to talk like this. This is what they're thinking in their mind. I ain't never known you to be like this. Is this the same brother I'm talking to you? Or how do I ask you what happened to you? Because they never seen the death and the resurrection. That's when you went straight from goon to God. They see me when I was a goon, but they never seen me walk to God. Anybody got any questions, any concerns, anything you want to add on, please tell me out here. Going once, going twice. All right, well, let me sip my water. And I shall proceed. Okay. I'm going to get this right. Like I said, this is a series to a first part series to many more parts of it to come. Matter of fact, this is all I'm going to be talking about is how to think in hieroglyphs and to think with an ancient mind frame. And the reason I'm talking about this is because this is who we are. As far as we can go back, as far as I know, this is as far as we can go before the Bible, before the Quran, before all that. This is as far as we can go, and we're gonna start there. We people say, well, why you don't read them? No, we're gonna take it this back because when I read it, it made more sense. Not at first, but my soul was reading it. It did, but my conscience, it didn't make sense. It didn't. I just had to figure out what was I reading, but I did gravitate. And one of the things it said in the book, when I first opened the book, when my first son that made me grab it is when I was waking up, is that the problem with man is the maturity level. Just like that, simple as that. That's the biggest problem with mankind is our maturity level. And a lot of times, like I did a show called Peter Pan, which I'm going to do again, is that the Peter Pan thing is that we are grown people physically, but babies in the mind. And we so much around each other, thinking like this, living like this, that we don't even know that we're immature because there's not that many mature to show us or contrast our immaturity. You follow me? Anybody follow me? So that is a problem because once you got mature people, You got one, people not gonna really steal because you're mature. You know, you kind of know that that's theirs. They left it there. Let me give it back to them. Like, you know, stuff like that. You got morals. You got a sense of pride. You got a sense of cause. You got a sense of understanding just off maturity. Maturity alone, you will have families. And we don't know that it's a science they got out here. Why we thinking they doing all this other shit to us, which they is. But the biggest thing is to keep us immature. And David Banner struck me when he said that the black race in America is a child race, or the black race is a child race of America. Think about that. The black race is a child race of America. So go to the 60s and 70s. Think about the difference. You had young brothers, 20 years old, 15 years old, 16 years old, Fred Hampton. These motherfuckers are young. Can you imagine a young brother now even thinking like that? Another young brother now even speaking like that? Do you see what they have done to us, the plan? If y'all thinking how to breed God out of man is a joke through the chemical warfare that they build in the mental institutions and the substance that they come up with, they seep into our food, into the cheese and the hamburger meat up at the Arab stove, you know, the chili cheese fries and shit and the gumbos and, you know, crackers don't eat this shit. Chicken, they don't eat this shit, but we eat it. And they seep it in there. So you say, but what the fuck you talking about? Okay, go to the 60s. Look at them brothers. Look at the 70s. Even some of the 70s. Look at them brothers. These was young brothers, just like you see us now. Fetty Wap, Gucci Man, these were about their age. But look what they was doing compared to what we doing now. What happened? What happened? Why is it like that? We supposed to get greater as time go on, not worse. So something happened. They figured out how to take the body out of the black man. So what does that mean? He don't think in hieroglyphs no more. He don't think we, he think me. He don't think us, he think I. We don't think like as a community what we gonna do, how we gonna do this. No, I just sweep the back of my shit and I'm cool. I just pick up the little stuff right there and I'm cool, as long as it ain't affecting me. So now you got us thinking I. And now how we thinking I, we got them for self. And now how we for self, as long as it ain't my backyard, and shit, it don't return me. And as long as we thinking like that, they can do whatever they want. They want to put chips in us, why not? They're going to do it. They're going to put it because what y'all going to do? Nothing. Not a damn thing because you're separated and divided. And it's easy to conquer us. We're not the same people. So when you want to bring it back to the ancient mind frame, you become as a quick elite backwards and going through all that pain and struggle in life. And each sphere, meaning 1 through 9 to 10, which is manifestation, is a energy dynamic of life that's meant to show you what you lack in order to fix it and then proceed forth. So you start at 10, which is here. I'm here. I'm on earth. I can feel myself. Manifestation. 9, imitation on the lower self. What am I going to imitate? What is my culture? What am I going to go by? You see what I'm saying? What am I looking at? You know, am I going to be like it is on TV, or I want to be like this, or I want to be like that? Then you go into 8. Okay, what are my tools? What are my means? Money, concrete objects. You know what I'm saying? Locked into just, you know, money. Basically, we're going to keep it simple. Something like money. Okay, so now I figure out a way to imitate. I'm going to imitate Lil Wayne. I'm going to imitate this person. I might imitate my father if he's around. But what I'm seeing him doing is getting money. So we in the 8. So now with this money, going to 7. Meaning he found a way to live. He's going to 7. Now, what can I do? I got a way to live. And what could I do? What could I do? Meaning my imagination. How can I feed my imagination? What could I do? Do I like to rap? Do I like to write? Do I like to ride a bike? Do I like to do something with my talents? Once he finds the chance, he's going to 6, which is Heru. This where they intervene at quickly. Because once you get to Heru, that's I am. Oh shit, I'm a warrior. I'm a man of God. Wait a minute, I got principles. I might have a cause. This is who I am. So now you got Fred Hampton. Now you got Malcolm X. You got these type of motherfuckers popping out of that game of life under the under the 6th spirit. They like, hold up, stop right there, get that out. He can be talented. He can be Michael Jordan. He can find a nice way to live. He can be Jay-Z. We give him the 8. We give him $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? We give him the 9. We give him something to imitate because we control all of that. We give him the 7. So we put him on TV, make it pretty, and the stuff we gave him under the 9 to imitate and translate to the 8, that he'll become as each one of them grow up. They'll follow that one under the 7 that use his talents or his imagination to get him to be like Mike or to rap like Drake. So we give him that. But when we get to that 6, we got to stop it right there. And they say, Sire, why? Teach me more. Set. They're talking to Set. Set like, okay, well, let me explain to you about Heru. That's what they call Jesus. What do you mean? Well, since we're not going to show you the ancient real thing because it might go into their subconscious just by us presenting it to the earth, one of them niggas might pick up on it, whether they ain't here or not. And we're going to keep that. We ain't going to speak about that. We're going to keep it just say Jesus. So, or the Messiah. Oh, okay. So what are you saying by this, Seth? I'm saying is, if he take all of that he done manifested so far and put it with the six, he going to become who he is. He going to know. He going to say, I am. He going to say, fuck this. I'm tired of this. I'm not going for this shit no more. It's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck am I? He's going to start questioning himself. He's going to start questioning anything he know. He's going to start wanting the calls. And he's going to fight for his people. And he's going to call on God. And God going to hear his prayer. Shit. Yeah, we can't stop him then. We can only pray that he stop himself. All right, so at this mode, at the sixth mode, we become a Heru, the God of air, meaning his thoughts is everywhere. Meaning his reign is everywhere. It's infinite as the sky. This is man's power. And he blends with the sun, meaning is you see the hawk and he turn his belly to the sun and you see that underlining, that light, that's that light that go around him. So if you ever seen the Matrix, he the one, when Neo went into the room and the Matrix was green and the Chinese dude was gold, he hold his own power. He hold his own source. He hold his own. He needs no one. He's Neo. Okay, we can't have that. Right. So you try to kill him at 7, he make it past 7, he get to 5. 5 is basically Banan. 5 is, look, I'm going to war with my lower self. That means he ain't even arguing with his lower self no more. It ain't even getting nothing. Fuck that. Fuck that. Ooh, that bitch with the big ass and fuck all that. That bitch breath stank when she wake up just like any other. Okay, cool. Does woo woo. Okay, yo, this and that. Or the female, you know, want to do her thing, want to smack her, take the whole income tax check. I can't do that. So, you know what I'm saying? He feeding the family too. I'm going to give him half of this income tax check. We're going to make it together. We know it's a bigger enemy out there. She's coming up under that 5, you know what I'm saying? She's going to war with the lower self. Right there. That's where they send all their agents at you. When you're going to war with the lower self. That's when you see Leo in the Matrix fighting all them Smiths. And what he do? He dip. Fuck this, I'm up. Because then that's when he realized, Joe, I don't even have to fight this. This ain't even really a battle. I already won. All I have to do is control. So now he at the 5th, he controlling his lower self. He done went to war, he done won. He mastery of his lower self. He choose to eat, eat. Don't choose to eat, he don't eat. You know what I'm saying? If I go to a party and I want to show these motherfuckers discipline, I'm hungry as hell and starving, the shrimp look good, I ain't gonna eat. I can cut it off right there and literally don't eat. Walk out and be cool and watch the feeling you get when you're able to master yourself with the self-discipline. Can nothing control you, nothing can hold you down, especially in your relationship. Under the old man lick, like I always say, if your wife hollering at you and she either going and snapping and you just quiet and you sweeping and you smiling, somebody gonna look crazy and it ain't gonna be you. Because in order to get that going, you got to feed it. And we said, no, if I can perform an illusion and you give it power, meaning your attention, then it get great and you kill yourself. You made it strong. I did. That's why when they was in the God and the 2 sons of God was in the God and walking up to God and God was sitting there by the big old throne like Joe. He wasn't sitting on the throne. He was sitting next to the throne, standing up there, leaning on it. This is how God is. And he said, Joe, what y'all kicking with Satan? And the niggas didn't even know Satan was right there. Just like a niggas nowadays, they don't even know Satan right there with him because they think he's a red man and not knowing he's an energy dynamic. When you feel that bullshit, that energy is trying to bounce. Or give me 50 feet, nigga, unless you're strong enough to subdue him. And if you're strong enough to subdue him, that means you done did your 100 push-ups. You done did man over matter, and you got a 50-foot radius. And anybody coming to this 360-degree, 50-foot radius of you on subdue to your nature and what you about. So all of a sudden, he right there talking God body on the low for no damn reason. But when he leave, he don't talk it no more. That's just you, period. That's when you won 100. So they in the God, and he's like, Joe, why you just Satan with you? And then Satan like, Joe, yeah, man, y'all, he like turn around like, what the hell? He like, y'all go ahead. Let me holler at Satan real quick. Say, come here, nigga. Saying like, what up? He like, look, those 2 right there, they're my elected ones, they're my elite. You can't touch me. Meaning God bodies. Like, what you mean I can't? I mean, Joe, I can't. He said, you can't do shit. He said, well, can I perform illusions or can I? He said, you can do that, but you can't put your hands on them. Meaning is, they only can kill themselves. So say, okay, 100, I got a game. And he said, I bet you they still honor my name. And there they go, saying go out to play, perform these illusions. You lose different people to do this, to do that, to do this, to do that. And hopefully you feed into it. And once you feed into it, say they did shit, he ain't touched you. This you touching yourself as you feed into the illusion. Once you feed into the illusion, you give it power. Once you give it power, as strong as you with the illusion, the greater the power problem gonna be. That's how you know niggas with big ass problems, that means you got a powerful ass brother. That's how that works. So I say this, I say that to say this. As in a relationship and families, we have to know that it's an outside force. outside energy dynamic that's warning our separation. And once we know that, the man know it, the woman know it, and we can see it together, and we laugh, and then we be amazed that this shit is actually happening. And day two, you're going to get another couple arguing and fighting around you, another female talking about my nigga this, and all he doing is putting these fucked up ass matrix images and molds in the female head, and she trying to agree with her, but she's like, I don't really have that problem, but just for some damn reason, y'all going to be arguing. Because with the hieroglyphic mind frame, a lot of people say, Joe, I just want to call you and just talk to you, but what they're doing is loading their problems on you. And what you mean, Poe? It's easier because we got a vast language. It's easier to say it than actually to understand what's really going on. If a motherfucker telling me all his goddamn problems on a regular basis, that means no problems become mine, because as he telling me his problems, I'm thinking about how to solve them in my mind, so they become my problem on top of the problems I already got. Think about that. Sometimes it's best not to even try to hear that shit or redirect the conversation. Have you read the Metu Neter? Oh, what the fuck is that? And I bet you that nigga hang up. Oh, shit, I'm going to call you back. Take them to your round. And you ain't really got to worry about people. Like I used to do, I ain't want niggas to ride with me when they got in the car, start talking God body. I thought they were going to get out, though. But evidently, they was picking up on the shit I was saying, because they was like, damn, I thought the same thing. I thought I was the only one that thought like this. And I was like, whoa, I was trying to get your ass out. Okay, cool. We're going to kick it like this. Why you ain't say nothing? Because everybody laughs. Everybody can understand. Now, everybody do understand. It's just that who is going to be brave enough to say something about it? So a nigga was in jail 10 years, and I said, Joe, what you learn while you was in jail for 10 years? So I know you learned something. He said, you know what I learned, man? Not to give a fuck what other people think. So a lot of us are going through right now. And I said, damn, 10 fucking years of your life just to understand not to give a fuck what other people think. That's how serious that shit is and how powerful it is on the soul. And what that is the way other people lock you into the matrix so you won't get out. Because you're worried about what other people think. You got a hieroglyphic mind frame. You want to express certain things. You see the synchronicity of bullshit that you hear, but you don't. Because other people say, oh, you crazy. But deep in their soul, they kind of knowing what you're saying. And even though they don't know, the ancestors going to show them 3 or 4 days later. And then they're going to come back and say some shit when you thought you was going to say it, you wanted to say it, you didn't say it because the person was going to think you was crazy. They're going to come back and say exactly what you want, what you were supposed to say. And then you're going to wish you had said it. Fuck that. Say it. Think about it. Hieroglyphic mind frame. 95-year-old man in preschool with a bunch of kids. That's how I look. And you worrying about what these babies are going to think about you. That's how I look. Anybody got anything they want to add on? I mean, am I making any sense to anybody? Going once, going twice.
Damn, man, you don't eat that no more. I just said, like I said, man, you used to drink that wine and stuff like that. What happened? I said, oh, well, I forgot. I said, the month came by, I just forgot. I forgot to drink it. Then I looked up and said, damn, I ain't had none of this in a couple of months. So you have people like that don't have an addictive nature. But this brother said, whenever he decided to stop, he said, when he went back to the bar to hang out with the brothers, he said, I'm still your boys, I'm just not drinking. They were like, what, you think you're better than us? And basically, he had to get a whole new group of friends because they were not going to allow that, because their whole life was based on the social aspect of the drinking. You see what I'm saying? And he said, he became a vegetarian overnight, and his own wife felt alienated because that eating was a social pattern. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, we talking about down here, you gotta have some kind of license.
See, I got a problem. My mission, I'm balling as boring as hell. I done fuck so many bitches, they think that I'm going to hell. I'm part of the message with bitches, I might be going to jail. I dance with the devil, they taking my pictures, I'm bogus as hell. I just got back from a tour, but we wasn't doing no shows. Nah, we was moving them pancakes, yeah, flipping them O's. They selling my soul, tell me some shit I don't already know. Now call me a Uber, all of my bitches is ready to go. I'm a no-limit soldier, Master P, body nigga. Take a blunt to the head, so I don't say hi to you niggas. And she wanna see what I do with the D when I come out the suit. But wait till they see what I do with this beat when I come out the booth. This is a cash money record for niggas that threw up the rock. My niggas is Jesus, tripping the units, putting the D all over the block. My face is on cable, the situation is stable. Hood X is the brand, we inside of your artist, we inside of your label.
You gotta snap some collars and let them motherfuckers know you had to take forever out. Anytime you feel like it, you gotta get the ground beneath your feet, partner. Get the whip behind your back and ride the plane. You got it. Otherwise, you ain't shit. These niggas that claim they your boy, but they really be trolling your page. Cause they never around when you crush the mic and walk up the stage. They mad cause they stuck in the past, mad cause they stuck in their ways. They rapping for free, but they say it's a scam if you trying to get paid. Okay, he mad because I did it first. Okay, he mad because I made it work. Okay, he mad because I made a squirt. But I'm so happy cause I'm smoking perk. She said you cry in the shower. She said you really a coward. She said you after the money, but I told her that come after the power. And life is what you make it, and I'm feeling like I made it to the top. Like it's 2001 and a nigga finally made it to the rock. Spitting that game in your ear, yeah, let me give you that feeling. The H to the O to the O to the D to the X. My niggas is speeding like Ritalin. My face is on cable. The situation is stable. But it's the brand, we ain't signing your waters, we signing your label.
For no source to get it out, please go there. And tonight's show is called Chad's Deity to Christ, Pangea Rings, The Art of Supreme Love, which is a new segment of the Godspeed broadcast. And I'm Homo, which will be the co-host of this show, which is brought to you every Friday. And if Smith have his day, we'll do it on Saturday. So just remember, if the show don't happen there, we got to just go with the flow, like the way you say. How you doing, Chad?
Okay.
You good? Okay. So tonight's show is The Art of Supreme Love. Okay, if you want to just dive in a little bit on that.
Okay.
Just brief up, and then I'll take it over from there for a second.
I want to start this show tonight. I want to say something about it has to do with the Supreme Love too, but before we I want to make a point about why we're here. Well, why I'm here. I can't even speak for anybody else. Why I'm here. I was telling Brother Mike before we started recording. I don't want anybody to think that this is for entertainment purposes. I could be doing other things with my time to entertain myself. This is not a game to me. This is not a performance to me. I'm not looking, to be popular or, to make friends or anything like that. I'm creating my reality. I'm creating a new reality. The reality that I've been creating was not conducive with what the master creator has for me and for all of us. So I just wanted to be known that I'm here doing work. They have nothing to do with me, but everything to do with me, if that makes sense.
That do make perfect sense. I mean, it don't matter what people think or how they feel. As long as the thing is, huh? As long as you know, you're going to be okay. I got you. All right. Now that that's being said, I like to go into just to kick it off, it's coming out of the Metu Neter, which is the last time we know about, and the reason we go back that far is because that's the last place we can actually probably see that's still intact to a way or a degree that we can pick it up now in today's times and try to grasp it, And so it really encompasses all, because if you go through all religions and most of the ideologies they got is based off of these ancient teachings. Actually, the art of supreme love, basically we talk about love. But like my bro Sticks told me earlier, he said that trying to explain love is like trying to explain God. And I was saying on my last broadcast, based on this manner, that you got to come from all type of angles, all type of scenarios, all type of hieroglyphic images to really get the full conception. It's not just based off LOVE and you finna feel me. That's why we don't have the expression of love today, because all off of LOVE, you ain't feeling it. Them just words. So we throw them around lightly. So what Godspeed do, and Chaz and I are trying to do is give you a concept based around the word versus just saying love, like love yourself, love your family. That don't really hold no power. You know, that's like, okay, I love myself, you know. We're going to give you the ideology, try to explain it. And if anybody want to add on anything or got any questions, like in this show, it's a free session. Just feel free to chime in at a proper time, though, you know, probably when the person calls or something, you know, and just slide in. But it's the 7th level of initiation, which is the Seker, that's Seker, the underworld. And it says, through the performance of rituals with the divine intelligence governing the death, which is Seker, the initiate dies to the things of the world, that he may or she may be born to the powers of heaven. Life on earth is no more than a preparation for the living as a spiritual being. At some point, we must reorientate our perspective in life. The initiate here trades mortal life for immortality, human talents for spiritual powers. In other words, there can be no mastery of spiritual powers for those who are still in any way controlled by earthly existence. At this point, the initiate becomes a vessel through which the supreme being can bring about changes in mankind. And that's what she just said. And this is out of an ancient writing that in the abstract world of most of the conscious community is cute. It's like, oh, that's good to know. But no, we want to see how this relates to reality. We want to see if these teachings are real. So we put them to the test. And that's why they say Jesus died for your sins. Meaning he's the first one to say, well, you know what? I'm not going to really try to go get the clothes, the cars, and the hoes. I'm going to dip into this spiritual thing and see what it do. Y'all can go ahead and keep kicking it, but I'm going to check this out. And if it's real, then I can let y'all know. Chaz, you want to add on anything to that?
I'm listening right now. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
That's out the Metu Neter.
Yep. That's most.
You know which volume?
This volume right here. This is out of volume 2. Volume 1 is basically the introduction. He's gonna warm you up. But volume 2 is when you kind of get into why is he telling me this information. But that's out of volume 2. And when you read it, you got to put it in today's time. And I use that scenario to describe love, is because if you're locked into material things, if you're based off into your ego and basing yourself what you have and what you don't have based off what the matrix tell you at this point in your life you should have, then you're gonna lose love. You don't have love because you're holding on. And if you're holding on to material objects, it's going to be taken. If you're holding on to materiality, you're never going to have it. You know, you can follow them. So letting that go.
When you let it all go, you open yourself up to receive so much more than what you've been holding on to when you let it all go.
Right, and in that you find love, because nothing can really affect you. Nothing. How can they get in? When you don't have no entry point, how can they get in? They can easily play games with your whip. They can easily play games with your wife or your kids or your people. But how can they get in when they have no entry point? Therefore, you're not feeding into illusions. Like I said last night, there was a shorty and he was in a car and he was with his mom and he was writing a story. And he said, "Mom, can you read my story? Can you read my story?" And she was too busy on the phone talking. And she was saying, "Now, when I got the phone," so she waited. And then he said, "Can you really?" She was really running her mouth about something else or somebody else. So in that, he said, "Well, I'm gonna have a happy birthday." He thought about his birthday, so he was searching for something to make him happy, because in that psychologically, his mama was making him sad. So he said, "Mom, and my birthday, it's gonna be fun." She said, "No, it's supposed to rain on your birthday." And he's like, "Oh." Now see how she just crushed his hope due to the fact that she's not aware of letting everything go. The fact that she was locked into the matrix and everything these females were talking about was worldly shit. So she was mentally locked into the matrix, that looking at the aspect that her son got a gift from God and he's trying to express it with you and you're supposed to nurture it in you, but you find you so locked into this matrix that you told him not now. So now in his gift, when he get older, he's gonna come to a point where he can pick up the writing, so he can pick up the gun. And since his mother had no love for self, she never encouraged the writing, so he gonna choose the gun. Then she gonna say, "What happened to my son?" Not knowing she the one did it, because she is not aware of the loveless stuff or shit that she's doing. You see what I'm saying? But by letting all that go, she would have said, "Hold on, what's most important? My son," because everybody know right from wrong naturally. We don't gotta play those games. So naturally, the right thing to do is turn around and say and read it, just to inspire him to keep going. because the stuff that she's entertaining her mind with at the particular time is not that important. It's always gonna be there. So she just, you know, and I'm using these aspects and scenarios to try to describe the art of love.
So Paul, I want to interject something that have to do with like something I was listening to, that recording I listened to last night about supreme love, and it have to do with their story. It all ties in. So he was saying, so I don't even remember if that was where I heard it, but anyways, I was listening to something about how God, or the creator, the ultimate creator, has given us the ability to manifest all these situations, people, places, things into our lives. And when we're wanting them, we have so much, anticipation about it, and we're so excited about it. For instance, a mother, when she's pregnant with her child, you're so excited about it and you have so much anticipation about it. And then your child comes into this world, you get your gift, whatever your gift is. If you want a new Maybach or a new house, whatever your gift is that you want, and then when it's granted, when what you wanted is granted, then you lose the appreciation for it, and you forget about, the creator that brought this manifestation to you. I think that's why our love is being lost. I guess is the appreciation for the whole, what takes place for these things to even come into existence. We've lost touch with the essence, with the source. We've lost touch with that. We can't know and understand ourselves and our God because we've lost touch. I guess is what I'm getting at with the whole process of what has to come together for us to get little things, for the fucking water to run down your drain, for you to flush your toilet. It's a whole process that takes place, and we all need each other for these things to take place. For some reason, we've come to a point where we think we're doing this shit, by ourselves. I don't know. I'm getting like a lot of thoughts.
No, you're right. What you're saying is we're depending more on the external than the internal or the eternal. It's turning us inside out.
If I can interject,
go ahead.
This is also out the Metu Neter, and this what made me understand the concept of unconditional. Is it unconditional love?
Yes, sir. Unconditional. We call it the art of supreme love.
Supreme love. All right.
Right.
The Metu Neter speaks of the two natures of man. The lower nature and the higher nature, and the four brains that we have. And the two lower brains and the two higher brains. The two lower brains being the reptilian and mammalian brains, and the two higher brains being the cerebral cortex and the frontal lobe. It says that when we are young, we basically are moving out of our animal brains, which is where all evil comes from. And it isn't until we get older and wiser that we move up into the higher brains, the God brains, which is the frontal lobe and the cerebral cortex, which is the lower one being the human nature, and that's not really our true nature. The two higher brains is our real nature, which is our divine nature. So I would think that love comes out of that divine nature in us. And that story that you was explaining about the young man, the lady was caught up in her animal brains, in the external, like she was just explaining. She was caught up in the external. So
you see that.
That really helped me understand. Like, it broke it down for me. Like, we have two natures, the human nature, and then we have our true nature, which is our divine nature. It isn't until we get into the divine nature.
Part of the unconditional love is we have to accept that part of ourselves as well. If we're going to, progress, we have to, come to terms with, we're made up of these instincts that, you don't have to fight them, though. We have to accept these things about ourselves. God made us this way perfectly, for us to learn how to become more divine. So if you're fighting with yourself all the time, you're not going to move forward. You have to accept that about yourself in order to
let go. Yes, let go. With the seven spirits occur, let go. Let it all go. We live in this world not well, be in this world, but not of this world. You have to die to the things of the world. The world, the greatest spiritual power. And when you do it, you will see it. So it's not just a concept where you have to use your imagination. You will actually see revelation. Spiritual power is called what they call revelation. And to go on to what you were saying, she was locked into her animal nature. And that's why they say in the Metu Neter, due to you being not going out of that animal nature at a certain point in your life, you become crystallized into that. So that means after that certain point, when you're supposed to change, if you don't, you become crystallized, meaning it's harder for you to actually change. And they have a science out here for us, and I call it Peter Pan. We think a lot of this stuff going on around us is actually a war against us, but it's the actual science halting that growth when they're supposed to flip from the animal nature, which is the younger adolescent age, to the higher nature. And as you see that our parents are really grown kids. If you really dig deep into a lot of these things going on, and a lot of these parents now are really grown kids. Because what they say, it's hard to find people that really act like mature adults. And a man find a woman, hopefully she's mature, and a woman find a man, hopefully he's mature. That shouldn't be a hope. That should be a gift.
Right.
I think it's a science.
It is. I was just watching something before I came on here. This goes back to from creation. We were created from vibration, from tuning into frequencies and whatnot. And the more you study, the more you learn about, tuning yourself into a certain frequency. And what happened to our parents and to our peers and to us for a period of time is we were programmed into seeing one perception, a bunch of lies. That's what this show started off, transforming their lies into your truth.
Exactly.
So that's what we're doing tonight. So people have been programmed with a lot of lies. And that's what we're here for tonight, to get back to the truth and supreme love. So, and like she said, this ain't a joke. It's not for entertainment purposes only. This is real. Or she wouldn't be here, or I wouldn't be here. My man would be here. But this is real, and it's something that we see. And due to us skipping over the program, we here to tell you what it's like, because you're gonna get to this point. See, whether you have so much hate in your heart, no matter how old you get, at about 70 or 60, they start coming back. But why would you want to wait till you get that old to start expressing the love that you should have been expressing while you was younger? And that's the old man science. Do it now. The old man get up early in the morning and he love the birds. He appreciating the air. He love the sun. He got his cane, and all he want to do is walk and enjoy the peace. But it took him 80 years old to have that type of love when he on his way out. Imagine the power if he would have gave himself at 30 years old all that time to harness that energy and then walk with it. He probably would have went into age regression. But that's the key. That's why they pound on us so hard with the technology, especially the black man and the black woman, because once you wake up, you're going to show them things that they never think that was possible, but they heard. And they call them miracles. We call it our natural ability. So in saying that, what she was saying earlier is pertaining to not just the little things in life. If brothers ever went to the joint or ever been to the penitentiary, in there, that just sitting there not doing nothing all day, and you ain't got no drugs, no external bullshit, you find God and you find peace, because you're going to enjoy the air, you're going to enjoy the bird, you're going to enjoy a book, you're going to enjoy a letter. And what happens is that lines you back up, but it's forcefully line back up. But if you can take that feeling how you was in the joint just to have a cigarette, they call kites, just to have a hit, to be able to hit something on the top, the little weed, all that, just to be able to go outside and smell the fresh air, you become appreciative. But when you get into the world, you overindulge, and then overindulging, you lose the love. Forget about God.
Shine. Now you forget about God because you were shining. That's why the white girl came to you. She always comes when the brother's freshly out of jail. She try to get there quick as hell because she know he's shining. It takes the sister a minute, but she will find him. But that's why you get that instant help. As soon as you start indulging and overindulging with your buddies, all of that go away, and now you drinking your life away. It's because you see, like she said, got about
let me
God.
ask you, how do you think one can stay balanced out here in the world?
Think like God. That's my advice. Put yourself in God's shoes. As much as you understand, however you understand God to be, put yourself in God's shoes. Read all the God books and try to understand God. That's how I deal with the world.
You gotta understand it.
Yeah, I try to do it by working myself in my divine spirit and realizing that I am divine spirit and that's my true nature.
But so I try to mirror, brother.
Root myself in that.
You have to.
And that means
you have a mirror. Go ahead, Queen.
I just wanted to say, when you say that, that means that you are whole and righteous and perfect as you are, wherever, and that goes for everybody, whoever hear this, as you are, whatever you've done, whatever you're about to do, you know what I'm saying? As you are divine. So if you're going to think like God, you have to know that, because that's what God thinks of you. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And you need a mirror. Here's your mirror. You know, this right here is your mirror. That's what you're looking for. That's how you stay grounded. You gotta have a source. You do. You need a source. You need to see your thoughts as a reality. And you're probably a mirror of that. If you don't have that, you always have doubt. So that's, you've been looking for the mirror, and now you ground yourself with this mirror. It just happens to be us. A lot of people are thrown off the form in the physical, like who the hell he think he is, or who the hell she thinks she is. So how the hell God ever gonna manifest on earth if no one allows an external force outside of themselves to show them the way? Because exactly that's the next thing. See, God got to do something slick, real slick. So see, I'm gonna put him in the dirt. I'm gonna put him in the earth right there with his people, just like his people from his people. So we don't got to see them suit bow tie, and I don't got a scratchy record. I'm just like y'all. I got a ruthless record. So you see what I'm saying? You can relate.
Right. Still shaping steel.
Right. If you've never been through nothing, how can you feel pain? If you never feel pain, how can you create love?
Yeah, I think it's important. And then another, like what we were speaking on before we got on, is how we're going through this consciousness shift. And I think quite a few of us are going through it. And it can get kind of lonely out here when you're amongst the walking dead, and it's very far and few in between where you run into it.
I want to encourage to shift your point of attraction, because this is something else that people need to be made aware of, especially Black folks, that while we do have a God and a Creator, our God and Creator gave us a free will to think and create our reality off of our thoughts and what we entertain with our emotions and our energy. So we have a false reality. Once again, we've been created a false reality that we're few and far between. That's a lie. There's plenty of us out there. Now, if you believe that we're few and far between, then that's the experience you're going to have. But when you open yourself up to the truth that there's plenty of us, and we're close to each other, we're a phone call away from each other, you understand?
And I start to track that more, yeah. You're right.
You don't have more of that experience. So to deal with acknowledge where you are, accept where you are. If it feels lonely at times, accept that. But in your acceptance, you allow, for the better things, for the new thoughts to come in and create a new reality for you. That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And the more that I do open up myself up to the idea that there are others out there, I attract more and more people, just like I found this group. I'm steady attracting more and more. But I was speaking from the point of view of being in St. Louis. We got a lot going on here right now. I mean, a lot of serious negativity, and everybody in the streets is feeling it right now. And, I think we begging for a change. Mm-hmm. We need to change. We need to change bad. And, it's been some serious crimes. It's no love. It's not a coincidence that this is on supreme love, because what we feel here is where's the love at? Kids getting killed, women getting killed, and it's overwhelming right now. So I was kind of speaking from that point of view. But like you said, you could it's whichever reality that you want to accept.
Be in this world, but not of this world. Be in this world, but not of it. Something to observe. And I understand what you're saying, man, because kids killing each other, and there's no love, and depression comes from an atmosphere of no love. It's not really depressed, it's just filling your atmosphere. If you ever go around a prosperous neighborhood, the air fresh and the sunshine a little bit brighter. Why? Because these people don't have no worries. People got, synthetic love, which is, I got money, that's why I'll pick up a piece of paper. But if they did have money, they was in the trenches, and they still pick up that piece of paper. And go outside and see a brother walking. When you say what's up, he say what's up to you. It's a different vibe versus either one of y'all speaking. Or if you say what's up, he don't say nothing. And that's a darker vibe. And interacting with each other on a regular basis is a mist. And that mist is a darkness. In your third eye, you can see it. That's a gray area. Meaning a gray dark. It's not a vibrant, colorful place to be or live. And what are we doing is producing with that sun who's in the backseat of that car in Chirac or in the city with these brothers right now killing each other as we speak. That's what produces that.
That's why it's of the utmost importance that we do this work within ourselves. We can't change our communities. We can't change our world. We can't change what we're seeing and feeling and what we think is our reality right now. We can't change it if we don't change what we perceive as to be true in our own, hearts and minds. If we don't change ourselves, the world's not changing.
And that's the key. We can't because the problem has become so big that God is forcing us to change ourselves. Don't worry about the external. That there's so many directions. Where we gonna start? They got so many plans and manipulations and stipulations going on with our community. Just off jump. We got to just point to yourself and each one. And I think it's the 100 monkey effect. If we don't realize we have the ability to do that, as each one of us points to ourselves, we go out into other people. If y'all understand what I'm saying, that the journey ain't without it within to reach the people, because we all want subconscious under the Metu Neter. But we all want subconscious, and we try to raise the vibration. Once the higher we raise it within ourselves, the higher it's raised within other people. Because
there's not alone. There's been people praying and vibrating high for centuries, so that we could come together and have this conversation now. You know what I'm saying? I didn't come to this conversation without reading books and listening to lectures and listening to other people who took the time to vibrate higher and create a collective consciousness that I was able to tap into, that you're able to tap into, that Brother Mike is able to tap into, to bring us here right now to have this conversation. So it's very powerful, and this is how we change the world.
I appreciate you, Queen, for correcting me on that too, because perception is that's very important, and our words are very strong. So I need to more often speak this thing into existence.
And have no fear. Have no fear, because believe me, it's things gonna come up to try to scare you. That's what we need, faith, and to know that there's a creative force behind us that's backing us up. Have no fear of nothing, of none of their laws, of nothing. That's the first thing I always want to say, but nothing. Have no fear of anything, because when you're tapping into natural laws, you're taking control of your knowledge and understanding of natural laws, and when you do that, you create a force field around you to where, you can't be harmed. It might seem like you're being harmed, but it's all working to your good. So have no fear while you making this, while we're going through this transition.
That's right.
And that's a law, which you just broke down was the law of the Metu Neter. I think it was the Maya, M-A-A-T, Maya law. Is when you have divine law. It's divine law. Meaning is, if you will, no harm can come to you. If you give love, the mass conscious of the people you're around will always protect you, because it's just that they might shit on somebody next to you, but just off your energy you have and the harness and love, they'll protect you, meaning that they won't come against you. So they might try to trick on one person, but won't trick on you, and that's what I experience. So what you will witness is in that you have a cipher energy dynamic around you. And any people that come within that dynamic will fall up under your energy, your realm. And when they leave, they'll only know that was different, and they'll come back until they know that you got good energy, you got good vibe. For that moment there, you might be able to build with them, or they might have higher thoughts. But then once they leave, they go back into their lower thoughts, because they have no. It's like atoms, the cells, they connect, create. So we like little cells trying to find, partner. To build something, to create a body.
All right, can I ask you a question, God?
Go ahead.
How do you think supreme love fits into the idea of us having a spirit of influence? Like they say, we have it said, I believe, we have a sphere of influence 30 feet in every direction. So
that's what I mean. Yeah. Well, it's like this. I say, man, let me get let me get gas or something. I got $24, and he wants 30. They rather like, go ahead, just give it to me when I see you. And the next brother coming up and he $1 short, he's like, you can't get the gas. That's just my experience of the fact that I witness certain things that come to me that just won't naturally happen to the next person because through a nature of love, I get away with a lot of stuff.
Can I add on that? I don't know where 30 feet of influence come from, but from my own personal experience, your influence is not measurable. You can't put a on your influence. Because we are God body, like God. You can't put a measure on the influence of God. And when you own your God body, you take on the same powers. My influence, I know for me personally, my influence has reached out hundreds of thousands of miles. So,
you know what? You're right. Because I was confusing that with the Merkaba field. I was confusing it with the Merkaba field because they did say you could be in another state, and because you could blend energies with somebody in a whole nother state.
We doing that now. I'm waiting on it.
Yeah, it's the Merkaba field that's 30 feet in every direction. And it's shaped like a UFO.
That's a vehicle, to get some things done.
That's the vehicle, right? Astral travel, that's the vehicle.
Right.
Well, you're right, Queen, you're right. We are infinite. And when we think like that, we know like that, we will be like that. We are like that. We are infinite because, like we all talking right now, we never even have to actually, get to meet each other in person and physically. So, yeah, we are. So I think that's like a motto of the internet. It's showing you the infinite possibilities of mind that you can be certain places at one time, 1,000 miles away.
So on your supreme love, get to understand yourself and know and accept yourself and your God body and lead by example. That's the only way we can change the world is to change ourselves and then lead by example. Say hello to your brother when you're walking down the street. You know what I'm saying? You're still old lady. Dudes be so quick to pull over and want to give me a ride while I'm walking by my lonesome, but you see a mother walking with her 3 children in the hot or cold or rain, and you don't stop and pull over for her. That's that bullshit. Where's the love? And then you pull over on me talking about you trying to show me some love. No, I've got plenty of love. Go on somewhere. Go help somebody.
All right, God. Right. I heard that. I was speechless. I'm learning tonight.
That chesed pose. Be a help to somebody without it being, without you being asked of it. From your heart. Don't tell nobody about it. Don't, we do things and then when we go tell somebody the good things we did, just do shit to be doing it. Because it's, because you're supposed to. Be a servant. And watch how God works for you.
That's the revelation. And watch how God work for you. And it's funny you say that because nobody never tried. That's why you never hear nobody talk about it. That's how, man, think about it. Right now in the time we living in, I don't see it at all. But we produce it.
We do it, I don't know what happened. I do know what happened, but it's been hundreds of thousands of years of collective abuse and, torment and traumatization that we're overcoming. So that's why I said, I posted before on Facebook, give yourself a pat on the back, give yourself a break sometimes, and that's why we have to think like God think about us and accept ourselves as we are, as divine and righteous and holy and pure as you are. I don't care what you do. If you're getting drunk right now or high or whatever you got going on in your life, you know what I'm saying? It's all divinely timed. Yeah.
So we keep going in the right path. It's all God body. God keep it true.
The way I see it.
Go ahead, brother.
My bad. I ain't mean to interject. The lower nature is the illusion to me, and the divine nature. That's the true reality. That's what I have to keep reminding myself. Like what you had corrected me on earlier. What I see in one city, that's illusion. That's gonna pass away sooner or later. And in heaven on earth, that's the real picture.
They want to have to die to go to heaven. That's what they've been teaching us, you know. That's what a lot of people fell for, is that you have to die to go to heaven. And you do, but you don't have to physically die to go to heaven. You have to kill your own desires, what you think is right and wrong, and let God show you what's right and wrong. Because we don't know.
What we just read. Exactly what we just read. You have to live in this world, but not of this world. That's
So how you do that? I think is everything that you do. You want to pose the question to yourself: why am I doing this? What is my intention behind this? Do I have love behind this? What I'm doing, or am I doing this out of fear, greed, lack, doubt, worry? If you're doing this thing for those reasons, then you're working for the quote unquote devil.
You have to negate the ego. Yeah. You gotta negate the ego. Weigh your options. I mean, think before you move. A lot of brothers are on automatic response. Think before you move, and you'll be okay. And that's like she's saying, just ask in God's eyes, would he smile on these actions or would he frown? You know, and that's a way to tell your child, to get them into that aspect. They already know the nature. They already out coming like that. So God smile or frown on your actions. A lot of people like to block it out. And the more they block that voice out, the more reckless their life becomes. And then they don't want to sit quiet because they're going to get God and know that they've been saying for a long time. They had no love. So
that's why we keep TV on, the radio, our phone in our hands. We don't want to hear God. That shit scare people. But God don't want nothing but love you and teach you how to love. That's all this is about. So that we can create this heaven on earth that everybody wants. Everybody wants it. And fighting is so hard.
Brother, when you feel the love, you master that aspect, you'll realize that you're not alone, even when you're alone. You understand what I'm saying? Right. You'll realize that, and you'll see your effects that you have on other people once they're around you. Just watch for it. You'll see their conversation change when they're around you. Just watch for it. You'll see certain things that they do, like, you know, he might be standing there with a group of brothers with no love, and he's kind of got his head down, and he's bows back and forth among them, and then he'll jump in the car with you, and then he'll start talking, vibrant, like, yeah, this, that, and the other, you know, it's bad around here, and things are getting real worse, and he's like, wait a minute, I would never think you know, this is on your mind, standing there with them doing. But it's your love, it's the energy that's the trend off of you.
Oh yeah, the energy is they're very powerful.
That's before anything. Once what we seeing is 1,000 miles away. Once you see the physical, the energy been there 1,000 miles ago. The energy been there. Right now you're looking at the physical. So you got to become the cause and not the effect. That's supreme love.
Well, what do y'all think are some ways we can demonstrate supreme love to the children?
By listening to them, caring about their emotional well-being, giving them an opinion, caring about their opinion.
Stay out of their way. Quit giving them things to be afraid of. We do so much talking bad, telling them bad things gonna happen to them, or what? If we create fears in their life that they didn't come into this world with. And like Post said, listen to them. Keep going. I just wanted to say that. Don't put your fears on these children.
That's your field. I'm really just reflecting off you. But like she said, we gotta pay attention to their mental well-being more so than anything. What do they think? What do they think? Yeah, we don't ask them. They might think Jesus is white and Barack Obama is God. And you're not even knowing they're thinking like this till they get 6 years, 7 years old, and you're wondering why they're doing, weird stuff. So you ever ask them, what do you think about Barack? Oh, he's God. Hold on. No, that's not God. This is God. You see, you don't know they get these thoughts. The TV programs them subconsciously.
Wow, that was deep though. Yeah, that's real.
Turn the TV off. Keep them away from the TVs and the radios. If you love your children, you will keep them away from that shit. You'll do your best. Yeah. If you supremely love your children, you'll keep them away from that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if I do that for myself, then I should definitely do it for my kids. Give
them some water. Shit. I mean, kids ain't had no water. They've been here for 3 years. They drink pop and tea.
Yeah.
Give them some water. love them.
That's the cure right there. And they be dehydrated. And when they dehydrated like that, they can't think straight. It's like putting sugar in the tank.
They juice up on sugar and shit. Feed them good if you love them. Shit, treat them better than you treat yourself.
Just give them your attention, bro.
Treat yourself better if you love your children. That's how we supremely love our children. We take care of ourselves. But we can't do shit for our kids if we're not changing ourselves, like the community in the world. We have to take care of ourselves first and go and evolve and understand that we are living a spiritual existence in this shit. All of our issues and, situations start off spiritually and then they manifest in the physical. Like Poe said, the energy started 1,000,000 miles away somewhere in space. And then you see a physical manifestation of the energy that's been accruing. So, we gotta learn this science, the natural laws, and learn how to pop lock this matrix, as Poe put it.
Hey, can I ask you a question, brother? Where did this science come from?
Us creating. You gotta understand something, brother. We don't have nothing. All of these thoughts are in your mind. You're reading all these books. You accumulate these information, but you're not putting them in. You're not looking at it as a whole, being separated. You're just looking at this is that is that. This is the Quran, this is the Bible. You just take all of that and then come up with your own thoughts and create. Like I said in the last chamber, God won't create us. He's not looking for imitators in these times. We need to recreate the situation. So that's now right. I know the children are coming in with these energy that I'm teaching already. I'm just going to be the mirror. So when they get old enough, they won't get trapped. They'll already see it some type of way in the ether. They're going to find out about Godspeed nature, and they're going to understand the situation, and they're not going to get trapped up within the matrix. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it can't really come from our mind. And you create, and you come up with thoughts, but it's already in you. You just got to put it out.
Exactly. It's in the DNA. It's stored in our cells.
It's activated.
Trying to forget everything that you know and let the truth show itself to you, because everything like you already know, it's an illusion. It's all an illusion. So you got to break free of all that shit first. First and foremost, you got to let go of everything you think that you know, and then relearn this shit the right way.
You sure right about that, because before, like I was telling you earlier, I've been walking this path my entire life, but these last few years, it like went into Godspeed. And one thing that I did before that, I noticed, I cut the TV off, I cut the radio off, I start cutting this matrix off. Just at every turn, I start watching what I let into my temple. Not just the food that I was letting in, or the drinks that I was letting in, the thoughts that I was letting in, the vibrations, the frequencies that I was allowing into my energy field. So once I start doing that, that's when I start having a breakthrough. And you gotta unplug from the matrix.
You got to give yourself days. You got to recharge. If you stand there too long, you'll start to believe it's real. So unplugging is resting from it. I used to sleep and cross my arms and not really sleep, but just lay there and witness all these thoughts, artificial thoughts that was being put into my mind that I naturally would have just responded to, that I don't have to respond to. And then just off those thoughts alone, I saved $200 just off sitting back and not feeding off those thoughts that I had in my mind on a sunny, bright day on a Friday. Wow. You know what I'm saying? I saved a lot of money, and I realized in one of my thoughts. So, you have to learn how to.
Hey, that's real. That's real what you just said, because they put so many commercials on TV. They program us to buy, be a consumer. When you unplug from that, you ain't on that no more. You just sitting back, like you said. You save some money by doing that. That's real.
What people fail to understand is that our physical bodies are literally antennas, and at all times, 25/8, you are receiving and emitting transmissions. So, like Poe says, you got to do the work of figuring out, are these my thoughts or are these thoughts, where are these thoughts coming from, and what thoughts am I receiving, from what vessel am I receiving these thoughts, what emotion are these thoughts invoking, and am I going to entertain that shit? That's how you take control of your situation and create a different reality for yourself, for your future, for, and create this heaven on earth. But you have to get to know yourself and understand what we're made up out of, what weapons are being used against us, and our best defenses.
Start asking the right questions.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of us don't even question things. We just accept whatever they, we're not emitting our own vibration. We just being controlled. Just being controlled.
Right, force. That's the part of love. You are a force. You become the force instead of being forced. And then you being a force, you have power. You have to remember there's not that many vessels of expression of God that's down here now. And there's a lot of power in that. But who's actually harnessing that power and trying to manifest on earth? No one. So those who do have that power is protected because they'll become very precious to the universe and the mission of man on earth. You see what I'm saying? The whole nature of earth evolving, the raise and vibration, whether you like it or not. You can try to act like it ain't gonna happen, but it's going down. It ain't no ignoring it. So they say who these
going up
is, right? It's going up. It's going up. Ain't no ignoring it, my fault. So they say people think there is, but like you can prophesy that, brother. Don't have it. If you got something in your mind and you see images like under Godspeed Science, 30-second intro, and you see images of certain things of people that you see when you first meet them or first come into their presence, that's real. And if you speak up on it, don't worry about what it is, because you're seeing into an energy dynamic of the all-encompassing, meaning you everywhere and nowhere at the same time. So once you do that, it's going to seem odd, but the matrix is going to show them what you're talking about. And then they're going to come back. Now they're feeling kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? They're feeling kind of, because they've never seen a death and resurrection. Meaning I never seen this out of you. They never seen it. They can't. You know what I'm saying? They like this coming out your mouth. How do you know this? But they know the old you, not the new you, because they don't know that they can't see the death and resurrection. So every time they try to, or you do come into contact with people who understand me, they're going to switch and turn and tweak because they're surprised that it's coming from you.
Right.
They remember that's old you.
That's because we pop locking that higher self.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to, and you got to keep going because it's going. The agents of God they ready to work, and we need to give them something to do. So that's when you study and prophesy and create the reality. Anybody want to add on anything, Queen? You want to go ahead and end it on out?
Yeah,
you want to ask?
I got one last question.
Go ahead.
How can you demonstrate supreme love to sacred agents?
That's what,
like it might be your brother or your sister.
So listen, so this is a good time to teach about about people being reflections. So this is why agents are good for us, and this is why we love agents, even if they're your brother or your sister, however they come to you. Agents come into your reality to present something to you that you need to work on in yourself. Nothing can present itself to you if it's not something that you have not attracted to yourself. So when our difficulties present themselves, bless them. Thank you for coming into my life and giving me this to deal with with my new self in a new way, so I can get over this hump and not deal with this shit ever again. Basically. But it's always gonna be something. You have to accept that. It's always gonna be something. But bless that shit. Thank you for coming to my experience. I'm learning from you. Thank you for giving me hell, and get out my way.
That's a beautiful way to look at it, because that's exactly what they doing. Without their struggle, you wouldn't grow. So that stuff, they present something that you need to work on. Every time you run across one.
Can't do push-ups without no flow, brother. You can't get stronger without resistance.
Right, you gotta go against gravity to build them muscles.
Exactly.
So thank you for asking that question. That was perfect.
You need to ask us something
else, that would just flowed out of me. Like say we antennas. I really needed that answer right there.
Agents, please keep bringing us problems. You're making us so strong.
So I said, damn, man, you don't eat that no more. I just said, like I said, man, you used to drink that wine and stuff like that. What happened? I said, oh, I forgot. I said, a month came by, I just forgot. I forgot to drink it. Then I looked up and said, damn, I ain't had that since, this was a couple of months. So you have people like that don't have an addictive nature. But this brother said, whenever he decided to stop, he said, when he went back to the bar to hang out with the brothers, he said, I'm still in your bars, I'm just not drinking. They were like, what, you think you're better than us? And basically, he had to get a whole new group of friends because they were not going to allow that because their whole life was based on the social aspect of the drinking. You see what I'm saying? And he said, he became a vegetarian overnight and his own wife felt alienated because that eating was a social pattern. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, we talking about down here, you gotta have some kind of license.
See, I got a problem. My mission, I'm balling as boring as hell. I done fuck so many bitches, they think that I'm going to hell. I'm part of the message with bitches, I might be going to jail. I dance with the devil, they taking my pictures, I'm bogus as hell. I just got back from a tour, but we wasn't doing no shows. Nah, we was moving them pancakes, yeah, flipping them O's. They selling my soul, tell me some shit I don't already know. Now call me a Uber, all of my bitches is ready to go. I'm a no-limit soldier, Master P, body nigga. Take a blunt to the head, so I don't say hi to you niggas. And she wanna see what I do with the D when I come out the suit. But wait till they see what I do with this beat when I come out the booth. This is a cash money record for niggas that threw up the rock. My niggas is Jesus, tripping the units, putting the D all over the block. My face is on cable, the situation is stable. Hood X is the brand, we inside of your artist, we inside of your label.
You gotta snap some collars and let them motherfuckers know you had to take them out anytime you feel like it. You gotta get the ground beneath your feet, partner. Get the whip on your back by the blade you got. Otherwise, you ain't shit.
These niggas that claim they your boy, but they really be trolling your page. Cause they never around when you crush the mic and walk off the stage. They mad cause they stuck in the past, mad cause they stuck in their ways. They rapping for real, but they say it's a scam if you try to get paid. Okay, he mad because I did it first. Okay, he mad because I made it work. Okay, he mad because I made a squirt. But I'm so happy because I'm smoking perp. She said you cry in the shower. She said you really a coward. She said you after the money, but I told her that come after the power. And life is what you make it, and I'm feeling like I made it to the top. Like it's 2001 and a nigga finally made it to the rock. Spitting that game in your ear, yeah, let me give you that feeling. The H to the O to the O to the D to the X. My niggas just beat it like Ritalin. My face is on cable. The situation is stable. But it's the brand, we inside of your waters, we inside of your label.